We did it. It's Tuesday. It's happening. It is live. It is Reilly's Cantina happening at the Good People Association. And I am so happy to welcome not only my wagging tail of my dog Leia here, loving Coy Jandreau is here in studio. Look at Coy walks in, and my dog, being the scared dog that she is, goes, nope, runs away. I go, ignore her. Just ignore her. This is what happens when you ignore my dog.
Moments later.
Moments later. Leia having it's bring your daughter to work day, and I brought Leia in. She's been here the whole time. She was with me at my mother's, and now here she
Co-hosting
with me. While this happens, I'm going to welcome you all to Reilly's Cantina here at the Good People Association, live in studio here in Burbank. We are so happy to have you make us a part of our day. I can't talk. This is way too cute.
On.
This is too cute.
We need a lower third.
We need a lower third for Leia.
She's the whiskey.
Right
here. The bourbon, the Leia. It's a lot. It's a lot of beauty.
This is amazing.
I'm very happy about it.
This is the Good People Association, and I'm welcoming my friend Coy Jandreau. Thank you for joining here, my friend. It's so good to have you.
Excited to be here, man.
Yeah, man.
It's been too long as always, but especially this time.
Especially this time because we were trying to go back, and it's like, boy, you're in my Hollywood apartment when you came on my YouTube channel when I was let go from Collider before the pandemic, and it was like that weird in between where it was like
6-week sweet spot. Like there was a very short time betwixt our weird January 2nd where the world woke up and we were trending for the worst reason.
Yeah, we sure were.
And then
that was it.
The world stopped. The world stopped soon after.
The world
Basically,
did
what
stop.
I'm saying is it's Collider's fault. The world stopped because of all of us. We're sorry, and also it's not our fault.
It's not our fault, and it is Collider's fault. Yeah, I'll say that. Mark Fernandez, what the hell are you doing?
Come on, why'd you stop the world? Love you, Mark.
Yeah, we love Mark. I'm still friends with him. It was what it was, and I at the time for Collider, I understood, and we moved on. Thank you, Leia. Please stop. Do not bark.
She got it back. She understands.
You got it?
Who's new?
What's going on? She's like, I heard something.
It was the ice maker.
Oh, I get
the ice maker.
I get twitchy too, Leia.
But then here we are.
Dude,
a year and a half or so later, we're vaccinated. We are here. We're celebrating Reilly's Cantina and movies. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man, the connection for No Way Home, connecting to Into the SpiderVerse or multiverse, teasing that. And, of course, we are going to talk about Batman.
Got space for something here.
The cowl was made for.
It's literally it's the best superhero suit for the thing
There's
that he claims he doesn't do. There's handles.
There's handles.
There's a space area. Also, his villains are largely cat based.
Yeah.
There's also his creator Bill Finger is some certain punnery there. I mean, there's a lot. He wears a kinky cowl. Come on, guys.
We are going to get to that along with some news, of course, some film bits, and our favorite segment here at Reilly's Cantina, which is they don't make them like they used to. We're going to look at some really great posters tied to some news here that we're going to get to later on in the show. But what I want to do, some housekeeping up top. If you go to the GPA.fund, go check it out. That's our membership. Get all the good perks that you get with that one-time payment for a year. You get a membership, and then you get this glass, the bucket. And it'll be sent to your home, and you get all those membership perks, and you join us on the drink ups, and you join us for the newsletters, and you join us for live events, and you get discounts on merch, all that kind of stuff, as well as the merch store. You can go there. The merch store is there at the GPA.fund. Check it out. Go just snoop around. See what you like. And we appreciate it here at the Good People Association. Of course, Super Chats and Streamlabs are always welcome. If you want to get some questions to me and Coy for the show, streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. Super Chats always. We'll take them throughout. And I'm so glad you're all here now. Coy, my friend.
I'm team merch because I'm so excited.
You are getting this glass as you leave. That is what we do for our guests.
Today.
Yep.
I was already let the record show. I was like, I'm gonna go see my friend Mark, and then he's like, by the way, swag. As a Comic-Con zealot, swag is the reason you go. I was already coming. Now swag, come on.
Yeah, you got the swag, and we have homegrown Boones Bourbon. That's right, folks. Here at the Good People Association, we are sponsored by Boones Bourbon from the rock star. Yeah, I call him a rock star. Tyler Boone. He's the official sponsor of the GPA. If you go to drinkboonesbourbon.com, you can check it out there. We're going to pour some right now, my friend, because that's what we do here at Reilly's Cantina. I brought it back. We were launching some shows here. We have Positivity Report on 9 a.m. Pacific every morning. And then, of course, we have the live show tomorrow, GPA Live on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Reilly's Cantina, of course, here, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Josh Brady, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fridays and Thursdays. We change it up, afternoons sometimes, but we're working on something special there. Stay tuned, of course. Subscribe to that channel. Hit that like button right now. But Boones Bourbon.
So
are you down with this?
I'm ready and excited because I've never had this, but I've been jealous for quite some time.
Okay, well, I'm giving you a good pour.
There it is. There's the magic.
There's the magic. Welcome into the Cantina, finally, to have you here. This is some good stuff. This is, what was it? 58.5%.
Zesty. This is, you know what?
117 proof.
We've leveled up from February 2020. Like the last time I saw you, it was in a fairly dark room without bourbon.
It was
and now
without
it's
bourbon.
A very well lit room with bourbon.
Yeah, now we have lights.
To lights.
We have lights and a dog.
I mean,
Hi, Leia.
come on.
What are you doing over there?
What do you want from society? This is the best it gets.
Leia. I was jealous. Get up here. Get up here. What are you doing?
Oh, that is nice.
Come on.
That's so smooth.
Come here, Mike.
It's got like a nice honey finish.
Right?
That's a really
good.
smooth bourbon.
It's a smooth bourbon.
I'm not even directly sponsored, so you know these words are full just owning of deliciousness. Excellent work.
It's so good. Yeah, we love it here. We love Tyler. We love the Boones Bourbon family, and thank you for making us a part of your marketing campaign. Anyways, Coy, how are things? Before we go into the movie news, especially I want to talk about this connection between Spider-Man 3, No Way Home, and Into the SpiderVerse. There was something fishy that was tweeted and then removed.
Got some crazy theories on that.
I have, me too. So I want to get there. We're going to get to that Batman stuff. We're gonna because
I mean we got to.
We got to talk about
not
that
only
Batman
the whole
stuff.
internet. It's the funniest thing.
It is the funniest thing, but in general, Coy, how the hell are you, and why has my dog loved you more than me now?
I mean,
it's I made the one adjustment.
I
Ignore her.
One tip, and now
she loves you.
This is amazing.
She wouldn't go near people today.
Leia and I, we go way back, and I think there's a sense memory.
Yeah,
I
would bring her to Collider.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think she's like, wait a second, is this the past?
Yeah.
There's an encounter. I'm doing good, man. I kind of did my own thing right after all the things fell apart as well.
Right.
And it's been really interesting learning like OBS and all the things that I've always appreciated. Adam in the booth, I've always appreciated those folks, but now, I mean, like Christian and everyone are deities to me. Like what Christian, Adam, all the people in the booth did for us, they are maestros.
Yeah.
And I love what we get to do, and I've got my own YouTube now, and I've got Patreon and all the stuff, but I now appreciate all the infrastructure more than ever. But the people that followed us from Collider, I just want to thank, and like everyone in the chat, like all the folks that have been with us for, you know, the ride or dies. I just so much love, because you and I love talking this stuff off camera. It's just so nice that we got like people that were with us, you know?
Absolutely. I second that, because we couldn't do the Good People Association without you. I couldn't have done my YouTube channel when you joined me for the Reilly Roundtable, and when we were talking about stuff, when I was reeling from like, what are we going to do?
Last time we saw each other was fighting. Schmodown. I just remembered.
Schmodown.
That was the last time you and I saw each other was teams.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
That was the last time. We both struck it from the memory.
Oh, when I shit the bed.
I mean, I was there, and I didn't think you shit the bed.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I did get past
an entire round, dude.
That was,
to your credit, you carried an entire round. But I just realized, like, I've seen you once, but digitally it's always so weird.
Digitally, it's hard.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
But you and I have known each other for like 6 years now, which in LA is like 30.
Yeah, that is in dog years. That's like 30 years.
Anyone not from New York or LA, you know that it's weird to know someone for a long time, but here it's exponential.
It really is.
We've also survived, I'd say, one of the most arduous times in entertainment on the internet, because like when the internet was being formed, there was that bubble that was really different, and then we've kind of seen the implosion bubble, where a lot of the ways people figured out how to do things no longer are relevant, and the short form content, which I struggle with more because I like long form, is kind of taking over. So it's really nice to be in this space where we both like the same kind of vibe. We like the more chill and like long form conversations, because you get a lot more inspiration, like things pop up.
Absolutely, that's what Reilly's Cantina is. We pour a drink, whether it's wine, bourbon. We're going to pop a beer because Matt, the beard man.
One of my favorites. I love that guy. Like,
you got it.
An inspiration.
Our friend and yours, Matt, thank you so much, my friend. The delivery made it. I have a couple of the Dragon's Milk chilling right now in the freezer because it came on a hot day. We're going to finish this bourbon, and then we're going to pop a beer. You're going to get a wild conversation. We're going to be...
By the time we're on Batman...
By the time we get to Batman...
We're going to be different people.
We're going to be... Look, loose lips sink ships. Loose lips talking Batman with loose lips
They sink a lot of ships. Frankly,
can sink anything.
we may never work for DC again.
I don't know about that. Yeah, it's fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? But not only that, we will talk about some Star Wars. Reilly's Cantina started as a Star Wars show. We're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett and what that news means. Robert Rodriguez is directing most of the episodes we reported. Yeah. And it's going to go back and show Boba Fett being in the original trilogy.
70% sold on that.
I'm 70%.
A little less sold there.
Okay, a little less sold, huh?
Yeah.
We're going to get him getting out of the Sarlacc.
What I want is that. What I don't want is another series that follows the Skywalkers.
Let's start there.
You want to start there?
Yeah,
I felt like we were going to
start
start there.
Let's
when
start
you sent
there.
me this email like 3 months ago, I was like,
I know, we've been trying here.
But like I went out of town, you guys got really busy, and it was a back and forth. And then, of course, this is the time where there is Star Wars news and Bat Cunnilingus. So, frankly, it all worked out.
It's like Lucas says, it's poetry, it rhymes.
This is faded.
This is faded. My God, look at this. Michael McCarstle.
Oh, I love that man.
Thank you so much. A very nice Streamlabs came in here. Streamlabs.com/GPA, Good People GPA, if you want to get it in there. It's right up there, Good People GPA. You can click it, you can send it, and you'll get a question there answered. And so glad Coy was finally able to join you guys at the GPA Cheers. Thank you, my friend Michael. Really appreciate that. We'll cheers
To Michael,
that.
yeah.
To Michael. This Book of Boba Fett stuff. Let me bring up my my actual outline here and get the notes going. But I can say this. If we go back in time, you're less thrilled about that. Why is that?
So my love of Star Wars is that it's a galaxy far, far away, implying a certain scope and size. My issue is I've experienced a lot of the same universe. It's a galaxy. It's not just Tatooine and Hoth. It's literally like, goodbye, audience. I'm so sorry. It's been a pleasure. You liked me until this point. I really like.
You're good people. They're good people. We're all here. We don't get that here.
If you rewatch this
we don't
later,
get that. You don't get that here.
Because I
love that we don't get that here.
Likewise, the Koi Pond, my community,
Your
they call
Koi
themselves the Koi Pond, which I'm so endeared by. I've literally been doing that show for a year and a half. I have 2 moderators. We've kicked out 1 person in a year and a half.
Yeah.
We've got an amazing audience. I just want to give full credit to Michael McCarstle, Beardman, some of the best people on the planet.
Oh man, yeah, Matt Beardman. I mean, thank you again.
Just
We'll be cracking that beer soon. I mean, but it's exhausting to be
great
that way. A jerk.
Right.
So
what I say next?
Have to come in and send some hate.
Come on.
Our hashtag here is find the good.
Fantastic.
We want to find the good in everything even every movie we talk about, and I need to do this myself. I want to find the good in everything, even if I don't like something.
Yep.
At the end of the day, Conjuring 3, not my favorite.
Yeah.
It was fine. I'm going to find the good in that.
Because you know this about me. My favorite of the movies since Empire, even more than Jedi, is The Last Jedi.
Yeah, me too.
So, but a lot of people, you never know what the audience is going to do.
The Last Jedi.
I don't want to dent your viewers.
No, they can hang with that. They can hang with that. The Last Jedi is a masterpiece.
But you know what The Last Jedi
I love it.
It left the Skywalker concept very consciously, and then they doubled back on it.
Yep.
It left the planets we're used to while still feeling familiar. It introduced something that felt expansive.
Yep.
And it felt like it was Star Wars without pandering to familiar sound effects, to familiar characters. Everything about The Last Jedi was what Star Wars was meant to be, not what it became.
I couldn't agree with you more. Because I know, and they always say this with Rian Johnson. It's like, subvert your expectations or whatever. Yes.
Build your concepts of greatness and experience real greatness.
Yes.
The concept of greatness will never fulfill what it's actually meant to be.
Correct.
That's why the concept of the Snyder Cut will always be better than I liked the Snyder Cut.
Oh,
but
I love
what
the Snyder
the
Cut.
landing
we talked
was
about that.
would never be what your mind was. There's no version of the year and a half that we all waited that all of us were daydreaming. As good as it was, and for me, it went from a D- to an A-. It was a leap and a half.
Wow.
It was a substantially better film in ways they can even quantify in an hour. But what we all imagined is always going to be better because our imagination and that experience of it. So what Rian Johnson was doing was he was destroying the concepts of these heroes because they're just people. So
kill the past, let it die.
What Star Wars did with The Last Jedi was destroy everything so you can rebuild something new. And then they made a 9th movie that was like, but what if we just remake one though? Because they just did that in 7. So for me, my only concern is we've learned that The Mandalorian is exceptional in its episodic, in its villain of the week, in its heist journeys, in its inventing new characters like Bill Burr, who's the best stormtrooper of all time.
Oh my God,
and
he's so amazing.
The way they didn't give Finn an arc after they set up a beautiful love story with him and Poe is so detrimental to what the universe could have been versus what they did with Bill Burr in 2 episodes. Like, Boston in space is way better than anything we got with Stormtroopers since the Clone Saga. So I would argue that The Mandalorian is about expanding, and I'm worried that if Boba Fett follows the 7th and 9th installment route by going back to what we're familiar with, it could fall into the trope of becoming itself again.
I totally get your point. It won't happen.
I hope not.
I don't think it
Not
will.
with Rodriguez.
You know why? Because of Rodriguez.
Yep.
Because of Favreau. Because of Filoni. What they're doing there, because The Mandalorian is exceptional.
Agreed.
It is something that is beautiful. It reminds you of Star Wars. It pushes the limits to Star Wars. It then is moving past it, I feel.
Yes.
And it has characters that we care about. It's rooted in family, looking at the galaxy that is broken up into a million pieces, looking for home.
It's familiar.
Looking for family.
Without being a remake.
Right. I love that. Yes. The Last Jedi talk, that is amazing stuff. The bourbon is already working.
Guys,
This is
people that
incredible.
talk for a living, and you give them a little bourbon, and you get them ready to talk Batman. And you just, you know
we're
what?
warming
It's
up
the
with some
perfect
Boba
storm.
Fett and some Star Wars
Well, you
talk
gotta warm
here.
up. That's very important.
I mean, it's
Foreplay.
Reilly's Cantina here. I love that's your opinion. We share that with The Last Jedi. It's a movie that really moved me.
It's the only one I've rewatched at home.
That's real okay.
And that hurts me because I'd love to rewatch all 3, but it's the only one I was like, hey, I've seen these in theaters. I choose to experience this again. The other ones feel like I was just like, oh, what do they need to do to get to the credits? 7 and 9 felt like they were chasing the credits.
You know, The Last Jedi really enhances Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
So I need to revisit them then.
Watch them back to back to back. Watch them as a unit. I did that. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Because I like JJ as an individual and as a filmmaker, I love.
Yeah.
But I feel like the studio meets JJ creates. I love chocolate milk more than most things. I think Yoo-hoo is a damn fine beverage, but when you drink a Yoo-hoo that's not ice cold or made into a hot chocolate, it's just fine. I feel like 7 and 9 are like a serviceable chocolate milk. Like, they're good, but they're like lukewarm Yoo-hoo.
Okay. I understand that
still
point.
drink
I
it.
love Force Awakens. Force Awakens I felt was, I don't agree with the they just remade A New Hope. I think, and it does go back to Lucas's poetry.
Mm-hmm.
It rhymes. It does rhyme. It rhymes with A New Hope. It introduces new characters. But it does shatter some expectations, losing Han Solo.
Sure.
It does challenge us with having to get behind a villain that's not Darth Vader.
Yeah.
In Kylo Ren, and revealing early on, oh, that's Solo.
Right.
That's a Solo. So you're kind of pulled in. I was fascinated by him after Last Jedi. This is what I'm talking about, putting them together.
Yep.
Because Force Awakens comes out. He's kind of looked at as a little whiny Anakin brat.
Sure.
Again, poetry.
Sure.
It rhymes. It was Anakin that he was kind of emulating.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's Rian Johnson's movie that really makes you think.
Because it's the one that doesn't chase a last name we know.
Right.
All the rest of them are either chasing a Solo or... And I like the poetry concept, but there's also like poetry versus redundancy is a fine line.
It's, you know what? I can't... Yes, it really is. And Rise of Skywalker does walk that line.
Yes.
And does fall into redundancy.
So
I agree.
I need to rewatch it with the benefit of hindsight of Last Jedi.
Yeah, I would look at Last Jedi, but try to move some of your ideas of it out of your head so you can kind of, get in there.
So that said, all of this being said about Robert Rodriguez's experience on Boba is I just don't want
Back to Book of Boba Fett, by the way.
The topic at hand, I don't want to be watching that and then them do the thing where they're like, oh, where did you get this grenade launcher? When they remember when Pirates was great and then the third Pirates came out, which I love. And if you do enough mushrooms, Pirates 3 makes more sense than any of them.
No. Handy tip there for
just
everybody.
Just fun fact at home.
Yeah,
but I do think that Pirates became a thing where it was chasing the origin of Jack Sparrow, where it'd be like, we don't need to explain where every single cloth he's got on his belt came from. But there was a moment where I was like, are they really explaining like a scar and an item? Like I felt like I was playing a video game.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of Boba Fett becoming a thing where it's like, by the way, if you always wondered why that got a scratch on it, we've got a cosplayer's dream. And like
You're talking about Solo to me.
And I like Solo when it was a Lord Miller project.
Right.
I
Me
didn't
too.
like when it became a Ron Howard. And I like Ron Howard, but I didn't like when Ron Howard thought nostalgia was currency.
Thank you. Because Solo failed for me. It's a good movie. It's well made. The performances across the board, including Aaron Reich. is fantastic.
I would argue, especially Aaron Rick.
Oh yeah, if he was really bad, if
He wasn't imitating Han, and I think that pissed a lot of people off. He wasn't imitating Harrison. He was becoming Han.
Correct.
And I think a lot of people wanted someone, because remember the casting? Everybody wanted what's his name that played him in a movie, like a young Harrison in that one movie.
Oh right.
And I was like,
God,
don't
was his
cast
name? And he was
an
great.
impersonator.
And he came
cast
on
an
a
actor.
Schmoes No show back in the day.
But there's a different thing between recreating an actor and recreating a character.
Right, and he was put in an impossible
He was
position.
in 2 movies, and they put him together. What do you want from him?
But Solo, I didn't like the winky, like, you wanted to know how he met Chewbacca? Which was a better scene.
His last name.
I do, I don't need that stuff. I loved the interaction with him and Chewbacca. I loved him interacting with Lando and Donald Glover.
Oh, my God.
I loved so many moments in that. Paul Bettany was fantastic. But I didn't like how they would go, you want to see how they do that? I mean, when Chewie sat down in the Millennium Falcon co-pilot seat, that should have been, for me, I get it. It should be a not cringe. It should be a chills-inducing moment. I felt pandered to.
That's my concern.
Yeah, I felt like it was like,
Now, I don't think Filoni, I don't think Rodriguez, I don't think any of those people would do that consciously. I worry that there will be a series of notes that say, like, hey, remember this is a prequel. Hey, remember we're putting these things together. I'm not worried about the original cut. I'm worried about the Ron Howard cut of Boba Fett.
And I think The Mandalorian has shown that they're not doing that.
I would have thought that after Last Jedi until they get rid of it with 9. That's my concern.
Yeah, but has The Mandalorian done that?
I think the movies and the shows are different enough that I don't know which way they'll go. Because I agree The Mandalorian, but Mandalorian is an original character to us. Boba Fett isn't.
Oh, I see your point.
My concern is since we're going with a character people know, they might be more like, remember how much they care? And I want to experience new things.
That's, the fact that we're going back, I think and Tamura Morrison, I think, actually spilled some beans that he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to protect the idea that we were going to flash back.
The secrecy is amazing on Star Wars. I mean,
usually. But I wonder how much of that was like, you can say this to get people excited. It is a marketing thing.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
it's like, you want to know what he's doing.
Look at us go. We're doing it right now. Like, you're welcome, Star Wars.
How many MFers are out there with
right
YouTube
now
channels?
Having this conversation. Exactly.
Did you hear that Boba Fett? Yeah, same.
You know,
I'm the guy. I love this.
I don't talk Star Wars normally because the fans scare me, but I knew this was a good place.
This is a safe space.
We're in a safe space.
It's a safe space. This is. I was writing up some language on like what we are at the GPA, and like something that was excised from the what we were going to put in there was like, we're like your warm blanket on the internet. We want to be that warm blanket where you can come and feel safe. You could talk about this stuff.
So you remember, it was like 4 months till I agreed to do Rule of 2. Like I was like Mark, I like you. I like Fernandez. I don't know if that's for me. Like it was a courting. It was a process.
Yeah,
I worked next door.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like,
well, it's because you say The Last Jedi, you put it in a tweet. It's like, look out.
Yeah,
I mean, again,
different
space wizards,
different world. Yeah,
I grew up with Star Wars.
Come on,
I bleed Star Wars. Okay,
and I knew this was a safe space, so I feel better now. But yeah, so Boba Fett, very excited, but it's a 70% versus, it's a more concentrated concern.
I can get that, and especially with Boba Fett, who is a fan favorite. He is an absolute fan favorite.
He got a show with 7 minutes of screen time.
Right,
like the dude wasn't in Star Wars.
You know why? Because Boba Fett had a movie in development. He had 2 directors attached, far as we know.
And he's the coolest looking character in the galaxy.
Coolest looking guy we know.
That's what happens.
For a movie, though, where where Han Solo literally bumps into him and kills him.
Yeah. So that
he's like, huh?
In any other universe, that character does not get the time of day. This is a show about a character that looks awesome.
But Rodriguez did it.
Oh, the scene in The Mandalorian
gave me chills.
Is the Boba Fett scene that we all imagine. He actualized the Snyder Cut. He did the thing that we all saw in our heads. He did it better than we imagined. He actually delivered.
Man, that's good.
He delivered on something our brains couldn't, because he knows Star Wars so well. He knows the character so well, and he also knows directing action to a way that we were able to experience something that we could not conceive of our own.
And Rodriguez he grew up with Carpenter.
Right.
You know?
The DNA of like his influences is all over it without being Tarantino.
Yeah.
I love that Tarantino is a voyeuristic creator where he watches someone's thing and you feel yourself watching other people's work, but at the same time, it's not something I re-experience often because I'd rather watch the original. Rodriguez does that where he takes other people's influences, but he mixes it with his own sensibility like David Fincher does.
Yeah. Oh God, man. Coy, why don't you just come on the show every week? Would
Words.
you?
Words with friends.
Yes. And Rodriguez exactly knew in that Boba Fett episode, he was instructing his extras or his, and I won't call them extras, but like the stormtroopers are like, get over here, go over there. I mean, it was B-movie glorious. They were literally, it felt like a B movie, and that was on purpose.
Yeah, that's Star Wars. I mean, no disrespect, that's a compliment.
Well, that's the influence.
Right, and that's what I think should be captured instead of shying away from it.
Yeah.
Lean into the fact that Cantina's like 50 monsters from movies that didn't get made. Lean into the fact that you're recreating things from
like
the 70s.
Del Toro wanted to do.
Exactly.
He wanted to
and Rodriguez will, which is why Boba Fett's a 70% for me. It was a 90 until this announcement, but I'm still like going in, midnight guns blazing. I'm really excited, but I'm glad this was announced because I could lower my expectations because of my own personal biases against rehashing.
Hey, 70%, that's passing.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a good thing for Coy here.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. And to be fair, Mandalorian was like a 50-50 out of my Star Wars apprehension.
Okay.
So building in, I'm already way more excited for this than I was for Mando. Mando's my favorite Star Wars property.
Yeah, it's
Bill
really
Burr
good.
helps.
Yeah,
But
Bill Burr. Bill Burr is fantastic.
Guys, look at me. I'm like a little Bill Burr. Like, I got to respect my boy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. That's a fantastic talk for Boba Fett. Yeah, Book of Boba Fett is coming out the end of the year. I'm so excited from that. We are going to be getting Boba Fett in the middle of, I think it's more of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Really. And that we're going to see him get out of the Sarlacc.
Yep.
I think that's what fans want to see.
I think they need to.
I think they need to, and I think Rodriguez is going to show it the way. Rodriguez in those great behind-the-scenes making of what do they call him there on the on Disney Plus? But him talking about it, he went, I want to show Boba Fett doing what all the fans thought Boba Fett would do.
Yeah, which he already did, and now I can't wait to see it longer.
Yeah,
I can't
exactly.
wait to see 6 hours of that 5 minutes.
When Boba Fett finally stood up and looked at those MFing stormtroopers, and he was like, yeah. I mean, he just,
I hope Daniel Logan's in it, man.
Oh, that would be great.
I want Daniel in there. I love that guy.
He's such a great guy.
Like, I've done so many cons with him, and he loves the fandom as much as we do. Like, he's so invested.
He really is.
I want Daniel Logan in there. And I would say Obi-Wan is the only thing I'm more excited about. 85%
Obi-Wan. We could talk about for days, but this show would go way long. It would go till tomorrow.
Won't wait.
The Batman Cunnilingus. Well, we got to get there sooner or later. Name here with a super chat. I'm going to get to those throughout the show, guys. If you want to send them in, we'll start answering because this is what this is. I'm already having the best show with Coy.
We always do.
We always do.
And then it's like 6 months. We're like, why do we do this more?
I don't know.
And now we've learned a lesson. Because it's been a COVID lockdown that prevented it, but now we're like, come on, we're
yeah, that's exactly right. So Name here sends in a super chat. You can do so. Thank you, everybody that does. We appreciate all donations now this week are going to the Trevor Project. So it is Gay Pride Month, and so we are taking a portion of all donations go to the Trevor Project, Saving Young LGBTQ Lives, thetrevorproject.org. Anything that you guys send in, a portion goes to these charities that we pick throughout our time here at the GPA. So we appreciate it all, including Name here. Coy, can you share your thoughts on the Killlock series as a whole? My friend Livio is the artist author.
Okay, so Killlock.
Whoa!
The book is everything I've always wanted Transformers to be. They managed in 5 issues, and it's one writer-artist that did the entire book, to give more humanity to these machines than the Transformers, in my opinion, have done since the 80s. Wow. The Transformers series is beloved to me.
Oh, God.
And it's at IDW, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know this creator, thank them for me. They basically, I think they love Transformers and wanted to make a story that felt more human. And it's ironic because they're machines, but there's a 5-character basically team, and each of them is a different archetype of machines in sci-fi dystopian future. But there's such a unique story about what it means to be a machine in a world of machines. There's no humanity in this story at all. There's no eye line for humans except the machines. So you are way more invested in the machines because you don't have a fleshy creature to go like, oh, that's who I see. You have to find yourself in one of these machines. So you have to pick apart the archetypes and be like, which one of these robots am I the most like? And then as you're breaking apart the archetypes, you're actually having an existential crisis in yourself because you're wondering, like, am I too brusque like this one? Am I too wild like this little, crazy little droid like in Star Wars? Am I too mysterious like this one? So you're looking at yourself while looking at these machines, and the whole thing is about these machines that have been branded with the Killlock, which means they're destined for destruction and trying to escape their own end. It's genius. Killlock, IDW, 5 issues. Beautiful.
Oh my God, I love that. I got to check this out. Was that what Loki was going through when he was asked?
That's what I'm going through watching it.
Yeah.
I think
How do you like Loki?
Oh my God. Okay,
thank
so
you. Yeah.
WandaVision.
Love Loki.
I
adore WandaVision.
I couldn't have anticipated how much WandaVision was going to change me because we hadn't had 6 hours of Marvel yet.
Yeah.
And then I'm a buddy cop fiend. You know how much I love Shane Black movies.
Right.
So then we
right,
got
yep.
Falcon
Me
Winter
too.
Soldier, and I was like, okay, thanks. Like I was like, okay. Now I don't think it topped WandaVision, but it gave me a different flavor.
It gave me a different. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it was great.
It's
but
incredible.
WandaVision was yeah.
So we get a nice BB plus Captain America 4 setup with
Right.
the new Cap that is earned instead of just delivered, and then
Thank
we
you.
get a
Yep.
genre zeitgeist shift with WandaVision, and then in one episode Loki's like, hey, by the way, you think the bar's moved? How about the bar doesn't even exist? Like it just raised it to a level like in 51 minutes. I'm so immersed in a world that immediately they did a thing that sequels have tried to do for 80 years. They did a thing where they gave us the power structure shifting in a single line of dialogue that somehow didn't invalidate our experience.
Oh my God.
Every sequel always makes you feel like, okay, it has to be bigger because it's a sequel. And I would say 7 out of 10 sequels undermine the first one.
Yeah.
The good ones don't, but even the ones that are good sometimes still do, and you just kind of accept it.
Yeah.
I would argue that the best sequels don't undermine, they expand. Alien versus Aliens, Quiet Place versus Quiet Place 2. It just builds a world out.
Yep.
Loki discovering that what he thought was the greatest force in the universe and it being wrong doesn't invalidate what we were exposed to,
Yep.
but it does level up the entire phase in a line of dialogue. And I think that is perfect writing.
Was that with the Infinity
Yeah,
Stone?
I think, and also the cleverness of the visual. So the Infinity Stone drawer comes out, and not only is it all the Infinity Stones except the Soul Stone, because the Soul Stone, how many people got somebody to throw off a cliff, and it's extra time stones, because that's what the TVA would deal with most. So that one little visual gives us a lot of backstory. But in addition to that, there's a card that is the single most valuable trading card in history next to all that. So immediately you get backstory about what the TVA would find funny. Immediately you get gimmicks. Immediately you get world building. All of this while you're leveling up the power structure of the entire MCU universe, setting up Fantastic Four, setting up Galactus, setting up Cosmic, setting up Guardians 3, setting up... Like, it changed
Wait a minute.
cinema in one line.
Oh my God. Coy.
Loki.
You got to come talk Loki
Guys,
with
I
me.
talk for a living, and I'm so sorry if you
No,
wanted
come
something
talk
else.
Loki with me. I think we need to
Dude, I'll
talk
come
Loki
on for Loki
some more.
in a second.
Let's do that.
I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Oh, I cannot wait. That episode, that was one of my favorite television experiences.
He did more in a 4-minute single scene of a medium close-up coverage to experience closure, redemption, betrayal, acceptance, and a dismissal because
Mortality.
of his character mortality. Because we don't know if Loki, because he's the god of mischief, the trickster god, if he's actually saved in the biblical sense. We
Right.
know that he could be manipulating Owen Wilson, or we could see this 2012 villainous Loki, because the guy we have is the villain. The guy we're dealing with is the villain of the Avengers.
Yeah,
and
he's,
we
right,
associate
2012's Loki.
but because of our biases. What I love about it is it's like blind spotting. Blind spotting is one of my favorite concepts. It's seeing something and the things you don't see subconsciously influencing your experience. Also,
Yeah.
Blind Spotting now on Stars. It's one of the best TV adaptations.
I've heard this.
The movie
The
is
movie is phenomenal.
the movie is the best movie that didn't star Spider-Man 2018. I think Blind Spotting is the best thing to happen to cinema in a long time.
Yeah, Blind
Because
Spotting
Into the
was one of
Spider-Verse,
those-
I'm so sorry, but that's just magic. But Blind Spotting right there. The TV show is as good. But Blind
Is it
Spotting,
really?
the
I've heard that.
concept is such a bold thing for us to look at because we're pattern machines. Like human beings are. You clean the stove 100 times, you don't feel the cold oven, you touch it hot once, you remember that the rest of your life. It's like reading YouTube comments. You read 100 YouTube comments that are nice, and you're like, I don't remember what I read. You read one asshole, and you're like, fuck that guy. It's
Yeah.
the stove.
Yeah.
We're pattern machines. So we're in the pattern of Loki being a hero, so we're automatically associating heroism with this trickster god.
Yeah.
And in one scene of Tom Hiddleston being a goddamn genius, he gave us more depth than most actors get to do in their whole careers.
Yeah, it
I
was
do rants
beautiful.
on Instagram on Wednesday. I literally watch the show. I watched it a second time with notes, and then I talk for an hour on IG Live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. where I just go like, maybe, and I just like hypothesize. So if you guys want to hear that is probably my favorite thing I'm doing because no one stops me and it's by myself. So I'm just like an hour of this because Loki was like,
Yeah, Loki was amazing. Loki. So my mother's dog's name is Loki,
named after the god of mischief.
named after the Loki, god of mischief, and he is absolutely a dog of mischief. Just reverse those, just speak it backwards. And Leia and Loki are in love. They're boyfriend, girlfriend. I call them L Squad. They are, I just want to let them out of the neighborhood because I feel like they might save the world.
I always wonder, and in dogs, and humans, anything that's sentient, how much our names influence our personality?
I mean, look, he's perfect. I
Because
mean,
that's the thing we hear most.
right.
Do you think, like, if you were named, like, Carl, like, you know what I mean? Like I think of you as such a Mark vibe.
Okay.
But I also think of you as more of a Reilly than a Mark.
Yeah,
So it's
well, yeah, I go
interesting,
by Reilly. Yeah,
but you grew up with those two very specific kinds of names. I think of you as Irish. I think of you as very, like, jovial, and you're one of those people that speaks, like, you're not always talking, but you always have those great moments of like, this is my
I pick my moments.
Yeah, and I think that's a very Reilly thing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Whereas, like, I'm the motherfucker that won't stop, and like
I love that.
There's not many people with the name Coy, so I feel like I had to fight for attention because it was something I'd get picked on, or I had to be either the leader of the pack or I'd be kicked. So, like, I think names have so much to do with our personalities.
They really are, and it is so. And I love that you're saying this because let's go into story. Story is names and character.
Yeah.
And so when you have, like, Loki, god of mischief, Thor, god of thunder, and you have that mythology there, those characters, those archetypes kind of start coming out, and you can start to build character from it. But then you get a Tom Hiddleston in there that just is crushing every
and subconsciously, like Jane Foster, Natalie Portman's character,
Jane Foster.
Foster
To
nurture, take care of, to
exactly.
embody. And there's so much beauty in those little subconscious tricks that we play on storytelling. And I wonder what that is for individuals in real life, like in our reality.
Absolutely.
Bourbon, guys.
Bourbon. Some super chats here. We got name here. Matt the Beardman saying a nice super chat saying glad it made it on time. It kept getting delayed, but then Matt the Beardman coming in with a big one here, a big super chat. My friend, you are always so generous with us. I'm sure you have mentioned it before, he writes, but I have not been able to digest all the content lately. Sorry, what was your opinion on Sweet Tooth? And to keep it in the world of movies, would you want to see any of Lemire's work adapted to the big screen?
So
I haven't seen Sweet Tooth yet, so I can't comment.
I'm going to give you full credit that if you're behind, I'm behind. Because Sweet Tooth just dropped last week, so give yourself a break. I haven't even finished MODOK yet. I'm on episode 5 of MODOK.
I need to see MODOK. Where's MODOK? Is
MODOK's
that Hulu? Okay.
Because MODOK was going to be 4 series. Remember, it was going to be when we did a show together. It was going to be Howard the Duck, Hitmonkey, MODOK. Way back in the day.
That's right.
I'm referencing 2 years ago Collider right now.
Yeah,
it was
going to
be.
God.
They were going to combine as the offenders.
And then a year of pandemic that put everything into little bit of a.
Don't feel bad that you missed a show that just dropped. I haven't watched it yet because I wanna separate MODOK and Harley Quinn. I'm watching Harley Quinn right now. I'd never seen the DC Universe Harley Quinn. It's genius.
That's what I hear.
And it's one of the best shows on TV.
And it's what led to the Batman.
Oh,
we're getting there. We're just warming up. You guys, it's like foreplay.
I'd argue
we're warming up right now for the main event.
Batman's lack of Sweet Tooth is the problem. So I think Sweet Tooth is a show that I want to separate and have it be its own thing because it's a fantasy epic. So I don't want to be halfway into a show that's a different genre and then like dabble. Like it's one of those shows I'm like, I want to experience this world.
Do you binge?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm a big like one a night if a show's released, but I prefer the weekly format.
I do too.
By a lot. Because I like
really
conversation.
prefer it now. Yes.
Because you and I can talk Loki tomorrow and it won't go away on Friday.
Because you're going to miss things. If you binge it, you're going to talk about it as a story. Well, not per. You might talk about it per episode.
Doubtful.
But doubtful.
Also, people spend a year on it and you're done in a day.
Yeah.
Also, you're not spending weeks of digesting. Like, if Watchmen, the show, had come out at once, we would not have had the dissertations we were able to discover and discuss.
Watchmen's
the best thing since Breaking Bad, I think. But I would argue.
I want to rewatch that.
It's so perfect.
It's so perfect.
So I would argue, like, I prefer, if a show is bingeable, I try to do one a day so I get somewhat of that flavor, but I also, like, I'm chasing the internet, ruining things.
Yeah,
so,
and
like,
that's what you get.
That's the middle ground of I sleep, I wake up instead of like. So
because Sweet Tooth is all in there.
It's all right.
It's there. Like boom, it's all there. It's like Stranger Things. Netflix just drops.
Come on,
it's all there. Disney doing something different. That's why
I hope Netflix catches up. I think Netflix Stranger Things season 4 is going to be weekly.
I think they're
going to break the mold.
Yeah,
I think they're going to go back and fix it. I like TV shows being a conversation. That's the benefit.
It's the water cooler talk.
Yes, that's what I call my Instagram.
Yeah,
weekly water cooler conversation.
Breaking Bad, you watch that episode, you have a week, you're talking about it, the internet is going nuts with whatever happened at the
Memes have
end.
time to be born.
Memes are born, all that.
So I was Sweet Tooth I haven't seen yet, so you're not that far behind me. I will let you know on my various channels, good sir, about what I think of Sweet Tooth.
Matt, thank you so much, and thank you for the beer. We're going to be finishing this bourbon soon, and then we're going to crack one of those. We have some super chat. Super chats are coming in, but we have some Streamlabs coming. I'm going to get to those because we have a couple that are talking about something that I want to talk about with you, and that's what the hell were they retweeting or tweeting out there? where they basically show the logo from Spider-Man Far From Home, or No Way Home, whatever the hell it is. I keep forgetting.
No Way
the
Home
thing.
is the third one. Far
No
From Home
Way
is the
Home.
second one. Homecoming's the first.
You know what I keep calling it? No Way Out.
I can see that.
It's the movie with Kevin Costner and Sean Young from the 80s.
Good old those guys.
Yeah, I
When,
keep
I
calling
haven't
that.
seen them in anything in a long. Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Superman's dad in No Way Out.
It is right. So No Way Home, Spider-Man, we get the logo, and it goes, and it shows that Into the SpiderVerse kind of flavor.
Yep.
And you go, well, yeah, Alfred Molina is in it as Doc Ock.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is Electro from two different universes.
Yep.
We have Tom Holland. We hear all these things. I've heard that Willem Dafoe is back as Green Goblin. I don't know if that's true or not.
I've heard the same.
Okay. So now we get that glitch. I mean, this thing is a multiverse thing. It's got to be. You're a huge, I said it in the description here. I'm
It's
like,
the graphic.
Peter Parker to my Clark Kent.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this? What's going on with Spider-Man 3?
Okay, tinfoil hat theory.
Yeah,
Full crazy.
Put them on, guys.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, here we go. Ikaika Shively back there.
Thank you so much for that. That was we didn't prep that. That was perfect.
That was perfect.
10 points to Gryffindor.
This is why, thank you.
That was magic.
Hufflepuff.
So Slytherin, but a nice one.
Little tease at the end there. I did tease it on Positivity. You're speaking Harry Potter. Big announcement at the end of the show and my guest next week. That's all I'll say.
I don't even know. So
Yeah, you don't even know, and you brought up Harry Potter, so I don't know.
Look at that. Look at that fate. I think Spider-Man 3 is setting up an interdimensional Sinister Six.
Yeah. Ikaika, why don't you just jump on real quick? I haven't said hi to you yet, by the way, my friend. How are things over in your corner? Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, I had to pick the best. This is the original
Yep,
SpiderVerse.
that's the
right
first
here.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk Spider-Man all day. I'm so excited for this movie.
Yeah, and Ikaika, I believe you actually believe that, right? You were saying the same thing. We have an interdimensional Sinister Six.
Do you want my weird elevator pitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes is in the Morbius trailer, a Sony property. He's a Marvel character at Disney. A Disney character has already been in a trailer for a Sony film already, now, today.
And Sony is making deals with putting some Spider-Man movies.
And a deal was just made a year ago
Yeah.
while all of this multiverse stuff was happening
Right.
in Loki. They knew what Loki was at this point.
Okay.
I think the multiverse was teased in WandaVision,
Yeah.
was teased in Spider-Man, because I think J.K. Simmons is the first multiverse character. I think we've already started the multiverse. I think Far From Home, Spider-Man 2, is the beginning of the multiverse. I think J.K. Simmons already started it. I think we have Adrian Toomes recruiting people in Morbius. I think he pops up in a post-credit scene in Venom. I think he recruits them. He gets Jamie Foxx. He gets Willem Dafoe. He gathers all these people. I think Kraven is introduced first in this, and then that's why they had to announce Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think we have 6 different villains from different universes. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is the Sony universe, and I think they might even play with the fact that he looks just like Quicksilver. But I think we literally gather the villains we already have in Tom Holland's universe. I think they keep Vulture. I think they keep Mysterio, because who better than someone that's going to be talking about multiverse that already has, that's already made us think it's not real. The most recent time we heard multiverse was someone conning us. Now it's happening in actuality. Nick Fury is not a fool. He believed it very quickly. Yes, he was a Skrull, I'm aware, but Nick Fury is both smart and sometimes a Skrull in our canon. We don't know when we saw Nick Fury, if that was the Skrull at that point, or if it was really Nick Fury.
Oh,
Either way,
yes.
he's been hoodwinked. That being said, I think the multiverse was real. Nick Fury knew about it. They were trying to double trick us into making him a Skrull. I think the multiverse is real, and I think we see Sony opt into making a multi-interdimensional Sinister Six solo film after Spider-Man 3. I think they've already filmed a 4th film. I think there's a Sinister Six film that's separate from all of this.
Everybody, good night. That's Reilly's Cantina.
And better than that,
My God, that's good.
I think the entire film is the gathering of those villains.
Yeah.
And it's a story validating Spider-Man hiding his identity. I don't think we see Andrew or Toby until the end of Spider-Man 3. And I think
Okay.
that the team up is, how do you take down a Sinister Six? You get the spiders together.
You get the spiders. I love that.
That's what I think we're getting.
That's amazing. That tinfoil hat is amazing.
It's shiny.
Ikaika, what do you got, man? I saw the paddle.
I'm just happy that you brought up Mysterio, because there's no way that he's dead.
Oh, he's not
There's
dead.
no
No.
way.
You don't
No.
get. So I will say that I have talked to Jake about the character, and
that great comic book shopping episode
in London. That was amazing.
What was that like?
Dude,
meeting Jake.
I have been a fan of Mr. Gyllenhaal for my life. Like Donnie Darko was when I was 13. So I grew up watching.
Donnie Darko was amazing.
I grew up watching Jake Gyllenhaal, but I've also worked with people that know him very well. So I had a little bit of like what the guy was like. But what was crazy was I auditioned for a movie to be his best friend because he played someone I know in real life. So I actually was like in the running for a film alongside him. And it was really cool for me as someone that is in the entertainment industry to talk with him about the role. And we had a really good bonding moment. It actually changed the whole interview because it's really hard with movie stars because they have to deliver sound bites. They know their job is to give people buzzy sound bites. And I think both he and I, once we realized like that wasn't what I was looking for, it made the interview better because we were both like, nah, dude, I want to talk. Like, I don't want a soundbite to go on BuzzFeed. I'm not trying to write an article for no disrespect to Frosty's website, but I wasn't trying to go for
that shit.
That wasn't my thing. I wasn't looking for a bold thing highlighted. So as soon as Jake realized that, he and I actually got to like hang. And it was a really nice, different interview.
Yeah, and you're an artist. You're an actor. You know, you write too.
Yeah.
Don't you? Yeah. So it's a different level of talking that I always wanted to exude.
And I left those things because I like hosting more. Like I still write, but I left acting because I like the spontaneity of conversation more than I like scripts.
Yeah.
Like I don't care who. Like I love Amy Sherman Palladino. I love Aaron Sorkin. I love the greats. But at the end of the day, they have their own pentameter. They have their own structure. I like the insanity of my language. And one of the greatest compliments I got was Jake started repeating some of my phrases, and I could see him toiling around with that actor brain. And I was like, oh, this is how things are born. And it was a moment of like that cosmic energy flavor moment. I was like, this is the most I've ever felt like a host because I'm using my own skills that are more in the moment than actors. Actors, I could never imagine the level of skill Jake has. But I also think that I'm a little better than some other hosts because of the way my brain works.
Yep.
So it was a really beautiful moment where we got to have a conversation about each of our love of art. And one of the moments we bonded over was I was describing how I think comic books are the most linear path of art.
Yeah.
Because comic books, when you look at the credits, it's a writer, an artist, an inker, an editor. Like there's 10 names.
Yeah.
When you look at a movie's credits, you see 100 names, and that's a tenth of the people that worked on it. That's not even everybody.
Right.
So we were talking about linear art, and one of the reasons he loved indies is it's so much more of his structure. And I love comic books. So we bonded over what art means to us. And we talked about architecture. We talked about... So I'm in London talking about Spider-Man with one of my favorite actors. And all of those moments were boiled down to like why we love this. What Jake loved about the universe is that the freedom of the ability to fly, the freedom of a fishbowl, the freedom of a cape, the freedom of all that means that he could do bigger choices as an actor. He would not sign on to one film. So all of this is a long rant to boil down to Jake and his description of Beck wasn't a one and done. I think Sinister Six is arguably going to be a very Mysterio-led vehicle.
So do you think this is going to bleed into multi-immersive madness, especially since Sam Raimi is connected to it?
I think that we might see a full-on fucking cool world. I think we might get animation in a live-action Spider-Man film.
Going back to that, Into the SpiderVerse, that tease,
Yeah.
that could we see animated characters?
A scene. I don't think they'll do it for long.
Yeah.
Because it'd be weird.
It would be
There's
weird.
a line.
There is a line. Yeah, that is Cool World. That is Roger Rabbit. That is things that, you know.
Yeah, Roger, I said cool. I said the obscure Brad Pitt one instead of the world's famous Academy Award winning one. Yes, Roger Rabbit.
But Cool World made that was the concept.
Right.
Roger Rabbit kind of broke it down and then brought in
Zemeckis
a lot of Zemeckis, a lot of nostalgia. Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse falling
the
with
late great
Eddie.
Hoskins, man.
Oh, Hoskins.
But like, I think it'd be too weird for a long form thing. But I think like his background, we will have a scene where we interact with another plane. But what I think we're gonna have first is Loki's gonna do it first. We've already had animation
because we
in
have
Loki
here. Yeah.
And I think the villain in Loki is Lady Loki, because not only is the gender fluid representation important, which it is, and it's the first character to do it.
You see that face, Lady Loki? I was like,
he's gender fluid, and they've already made that canon, and that's very important for representation. But it's also, I think, a tease for the third act.
and if it's
that's a very. I think Kid Loki's coming. I think Kid Loki might even be part of the Young Avengers. I think we're going to see a multitude of Lokis in this show. I think President Loki is a new Loki, not our Loki or another Loki that we've met. I think it's a new Loki. I think Lady Loki's in the cowl. I think we're
that
gonna.
makes sense. You said that. I was like, wait a minute.
So I think we might see animation in Loki.
I love that.
And I think that'd be a good way to set up how weird Doctor Strange is going to be and how weird Spider-Man / Sinister Six is going to be. They're setting us up for absolute madness in Phase 4.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic Four. Where are the mutants coming?
I think Phase 5 or late Phase 4. I think Phase 4 is longer than people think.
Most people here, Kaika, you said the same thing. We're going to wait for the mutants a little bit.
I think we should. I think the next big team is Young Avengers, but I think the next big tentpole film is X-Men with a team. I think Thor 4 is going to be a Avengers light like Civil War was. I think
we're getting Guardians with
and
them
Doctor Strange gives us 3 new Young Avengers. Doctor Strange is introducing a ton of characters.
Who's Doctor Strange?
America Chavez, Brother Voodoo. We're
okay.
getting a slew of new characters. So I think they're going to be building, and we're going to get a Young Avengers show, I think, on Disney+. And I think that's going to be our big tentpole event.
Yeah.
And then I think the next big team will be the X-Men in late Phase 4 into Phase 5. I think Fantastic Four is going to be the Marvel's first family. It's going to unite the end of Phase 4. And that's why I'm leaning towards Phase 5. I think we need to give some time to separate from X-Men. I think Deadpool's coming way sooner. I think Deadpool's going to be his own corner, and I don't think they should introduce the X-Men through Deadpool.
No.
I think that'd be foolish.
I think Deadpool will be our audience, our way into introducing all this weirdness.
And also, what better character to introduce the concept of Fox in the multiverse than a character that knows he's from another universe?
Correct.
I think Deadpool's going to know he's displaced, and that's going to help us digest the multiverse.
Yeah, because he's going to be us.
Right.
Going, what the fuck?
Right.
He'll look and break the fourth wall and go, what the fuck? And it'll bleep.
Oh, I think
Disney.
he's going to keep us R in his world.
I
think
so.
he pops up in another world and it bleeps. I think we might even get scenes that are replicant. I think we'll get a scene in his movie that's R, and then they'll use it in another movie in PG-13 it.
If it's Marvel, though, because I know they're working on Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3. And it's Marvel and it'll be connected.
Right.
How can they curse?
They've acknowledged that Hulu can have swearing. I think it'll air on Hulu.
Bleep it out maybe in theaters or...
Oh, no. I think R-rated theater. Because
Okay.
think about Buena Vista. Like, Disney's got imprints
I know,
of R-rated.
I know.
I think it's an R-rated film they'll release it under the Fox banner or a new banner.
They need to do that.
It's R-rated.
That was and we're going to
I
get
put
to...
money on it.
I have a segment later on in the show for Alien because there's some stuff with Alien. I love Alien. It's one of the best horror movies ever made and one of the best action horror movies ever made, and Alien and Aliens respectively.
Quiet Place 2 plug.
Quiet Place 2.
It's the aliens of our day.
It was great.
But it also followed the formula.
Yes, and that opening was so fantastic.
I can't believe how good Quiet Place 2 was. It's my movie of the year so far.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
that and Mitchell's versus the Machines are my 2 favorite movies.
Oh my God, Mitchell's versus the Machines is a joy.
What a
to
dichotomy!
watch.
Like I was like,
it was a
these
joy
are my 2
to
favorite
watch.
films.
They might be mine.
Like they're so good, and they're both so different, and unique, and both unique to themselves, but also to what cinema is right now.
Absolutely.
And we haven't had an Aliens in a while, like something that was a sequel. Yeah,
we need it. That's a tease for later. So let's move on to some other things. But I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. More on the SpiderVerse here. We have Streamlabs coming in, streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. The Ryan Cross Project, thank you for this, my friend, writes, first, there's one of 2. With Sony International Twitter deleting the international title release, do you think movie studios will take notice with the reaction deleting tweets and posts of any kind and will use that for marketing movies forward? Also, with all the leaked plots being talked about, how many do you think have some piece of a true story, a hodgepodge of the plots that will be revealed to be the true plot? Because one mainstay is the Statue of Liberty climax final battle. Thoughts and things.
Ryan, always good to hear from you.
Thank you, my friend, for that, Ryan.
I would argue that I think this is gonna sound conspiracy theory in like a 70s Vietnam way.
Ooh, I like it. Do it.
I
Kaika
think
on the ones and twos.
they hire studio. I think studios have people that work for social media to release misinformation on a conspiracy theory government UFO scale.
Oh, I 100% agree.
I think we got this covered paid by the studios.
Oh yeah, and you know where that ends up in their budget sheet? Marketing.
Oh, 100%. I think we got this covered as literally a piece of the system.
Yeah.
Because like Bleeding Cool writes about Donny Cates sneezing. Like there's literally people that make just articles and articles and articles, but there's also people that just like, I think they tease like, will this work? Are they excited? Will this work? Does this suck?
Yeah.
I think that more and more studios, we're gonna see a lot of these deleted things that are just like it's like Snapchat. I'm old.
Snapchat.
It's like Snapchat. Like it's a thing that goes away, so it's like, what was it? You know,
Right.
there's merit in that spontaneity and excitement, and I think there are leaks already happening right now. There was 2 parts to that question. Was there another one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Bourbon.
Where am I? Leaked plots being talked about. How
Oh, the
many do you
Statue of
think
Liberty.
have- Statue of Liberty. Yeah.
I do think that my biggest issue with Spider-Man is that I have yet to feel like he was a New Yorker.
Yeah, mine too.
I would argue he's been to space in Europe and not much in New York.
I 100% agree. friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I've seen him get a churro and a bike, and I miss that. I want more of that. So I
Homecoming
think
had that flavor. They were teasing.
They really
it.
got it. But
Yeah.
I think they've heard us, and they're gonna land in New York and really establish that.
I hope
and
so.
I would argue the Sinister Six movie is probably going to be like an interdimensional New York. So I want New York to feel like a character. I also think Spider-Gwen's coming in, and they're going to make Nueva New York part of the Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, okay.
I think all that's coming.
This
I think
is-
we're getting Miguel O'Hara's coming in Nueva York.
You know, isn't it a good time to be a geek?
Oh, it's the last 10 years have been, and then you look at the calendar and you're like, and the next 10 years. Like,
I know,
what
it's
we've experienced
insane.
is just this flash in the pan.
There's so much joy out there, and I'm going to take a moment here to find the good, what we do here at Reilly's Cantina, Good People Association. I never get the yelling and screaming on videos over this actress being cast or this actor being cast or this producer being a part of it or this thing or this writer. The hate that can have money behind it from YouTube videos because they disagree or they think that they're, doing some agenda or something like James Mangold going on Twitter and just yelling and screaming, saying disinformation. Stop judging my Indiana Jones movie before you know it.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Love you, James Mangold.
I love James Mangold.
Such a fan.
That was so amazing because that hate, that tweet, the videos that followed that just rag on an artist who is defending his work before it's even seen
Yeah.
is hysterical to me that causes views or that like you love movies, you grew up, and I know all those videos and all those people that are mad and they want to yell at The Last Jedi, they want to yell at whoever it is, whoever their flavor of the week is to burn and pillage their whatever. That kind of stuff I know comes from a place of love. I know that sounds weird, but a place that they love movies so much, but that this kind of stuff is like, let them do their fucking thing. Let them create. Let them do their thing. Like, you don't know what is going on behind the scenes.
Right.
And I remember that tweet from the James Mangold, and there was a tweet that went out there that was like, by the way, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And James Mangold's like, no, yeah, no. Go after yourself. Kind of. And it's like, damn.
I would argue, and
That sucked.
all of our work is on the internet. Like, everything we do is on the internet.
Yeah.
I would argue, I think society's better without it.
Yeah.
I think that we know too much.
We've talked about social media before.
We have. I think you and
we're
I share
too young.
very-
Yeah. You were
I-
saying that we're too young for it.
I think that the human brain cannot develop at the speed at which our gray matter is required to process it. I think that we can't actually rationalize the choices we're making now that'll impact future generations. I think not our kids, but our grandkids will be able to use the internet like we use books.
Yeah.
But if you look at how we have only just discovered encyclopedias, breadth of knowledge, libraries are a very useful tool. The internet could be a library with all the information of all time.
Yeah.
But instead we use it to divide, not combine. We use it to hate instead of love. We use it to crap on movies instead of build them up. So I would argue that we as a species are in our teen phase, and we as a country are in our preteen phase. I think America is a preteen that's lashing out. I think we as a culture, with the film culture and the entertainment industry, is a teenager that doesn't know what it is and it's got a lot of hormones.
Yeah.
I think the internet is a dangerous weapon in those hands, and I think that it is. The Snyder Cut turned out incredible, but I think the Snyder Cut precedent is going to be like when you get your first buzzed behind the wheel and you get home without getting pulled over experience. I never drive drunk.
That is a great way to put it.
I
would
think
agree
driving
with it 100%.
Driving drunk is one of the worst things you can do because it's so selfish. I think driving drunk is one of those things that's like, hey, I'm in complete control of my decisions, and this can only harm others and myself, but it's more about the others. I think buzz driving is thinking you're not as drunk as you are and you got home, so it's fine. It's a no harm, no foul.
Oh, yeah, I did it.
The
I
Snyder
can do it
Cut,
again.
I think the Snyder Cut it turned out okay. I'm happy it exists. Oh boy, what a precedent.
It's a precedent I don't like. In that, my dream is to sell a screenplay and see that movie in theaters and go opening night and see my name and lights and all that kind of stuff and all the great stuff. And then my biggest nightmare is everybody saying I ruined the movie because sometimes they go after the writer, most times it's the director, sometimes it's the actors, but then the tribalness of it, and that studios go shit, and they make that. Unfortunately for me, I mean, they did that with Batman v Superman and pulled Snyder off of it. which I disagreed with.
Well, I think the tribalness is an interesting thing to bring up because I think that we're a people in search of a culture.
Yeah.
So I think our generation, like, we're searching for what unifies us, but while we're searching for it, we're lashing out. So, like, I think the Snyder community has really incredibly raised awareness for, suicide prevention. They've raised
that was the beautiful thing about it.
That tribalism is beautiful. And I think that only maybe 5% are the loud, angry ones that we think of in the negative. But because that much like politics is so much louder, it causes a certain connotation. I can consciously say, I don't think of Snyder Cut people as bad people. I know that in my heart. But whenever I look at the hashtag, I'm like, motherfucker. Like, it's a violent, dangerous place.
Yeah, and I've had the unfortunate run-ins with, and still, some of my videos, I get a random, really bad comment.
And that's what, like I said, the stove thing. It's what you remember. So I do think the tribalism's a thing, and I do think that the internet's a dangerous place, but I do think it's negatively affecting how movies are made.
Yeah, it is, because I really believe in an artist and their vision, and especially when they're taking that swing.
Yeah.
Ryan
That's how
Johnson.
art happens. Art is literally about taking a risk. If you're listening to people, you're not taking a risk.
You have to take it, and if you listen to... I don't care how many people are on Twitter or whatever. And if you're moving away from one vision, and you're putting like, we got to listen to this person at Batman6969 says this movie sucked,
but he doesn't.
I'm gonna. I brought that up for a reason.
But I would argue like a fan group is a negative, whereas a writer's group is a positive. Yeah. Like when you're writing something and you show it to your friends, that's a very different thing because those are peers you trust. Right. I think that the open source, I hate you is the problem. I think it's really detrimental to creators to look at the internet, and I think it's not fair for fans to be like, well, then just don't look, because that's an unfair expectation.
No, it's hard, and and really some of that toxicity. You do not know who's on the other end of that.
Yeah, and you do not
know. Mental health is a real thing, and I tell you, when people especially this year, and when people yelled and screamed at me for my opinion on The Last Jedi, went so far as to create a fake Twitter handle and then send me death threats. Yeah. Send death threats, send horrible, toxic statements about my dog who passed away, to where I had to actually call the cops. That shit, no.
And that's the anonymity
over
of
a fucking movie.
Over an opinion of a movie. You didn't make
over
the movie.
Opinion of a movie that I didn't make, that I just liked. That's when it goes too far.
And that's what scares me is this is year 20 of mainstream internet. Yeah. That's what scares me.
So let's write ourselves. This is what we do, Good People Association. We find the good, and everybody here in the chat, wonderful people. This is what I want.
Did we answer that question? I feel like we
a discourse that is healthy and fun, and that we can move on to the next topic, which I do want to get into. Take a breath. Does Batman not like cunnilingus?
Batman's a bitch. I think if this is canon, then Batman is even more selfish than the villains he thinks are evil. I think Batman, there's always the conversation of if Batman beating up the mentally ill on the streets as some sort of toxic excuse because of his own depression and darkness, that's already concerning. But if Homeboy is expecting women to love him and he doesn't do the bare minimum, fuck Batman.
Real quick, Lewis Cox with a super chat here. We're going to go back to the Batman topic.
Don't you worry.
It's on deck. Okay, he's warmed up. It's happening. Lewis Cox, Eternals, I hope, will tie into MCU, X-Men, and hopefully a reboot of the Inhumans would be wicked, sick, and awesomely cool. Lewis, I agree. The Inhumans, not much of it didn't work for the TV show. That was like, a little bit, not on the early side of things, but... Definitely, they were trying some things there. Inhumans didn't work.
It was a different team. A lot of people don't realize. Jeff Loeb versus Kevin Feige.
Exactly. Now we're all together. We have the streaming. We have Kevin Feige involved in all of it. Lewis, I think that, Eternals might introduce some mutants, might tease it. That's what I feel.
I've got to create another tinfoil hat.
Do it.
I think that the WandaVision reality... that she messed up a lot of people's reality. That was in Jersey. I'm wondering if that affected Miss Marvel.
I wonder.
Miss Marvel, the first Inhuman. Jersey's a very big part of her whole entire community.
Right.
Jersey City's down the street from where they were doing the bubble of WandaVision. What if we've already had the incident that caused Miss Marvel? And the Inhumans are already out
there.
That's
it. Oh. See, that's good.
Right?
That's
I think that might be a thing. And I also think
Yes.
And I also think the Inhumans are going to give us not a mutant in the direct sense. I think an incident will happen in the Inhumans that we'll look back on in 5 years and go like, oh, like I think a breadcrumb gets delivered in the Inhumans. I don't think we see mutants. I don't think any X's happen. I think an incident occurs in either voiceover, backstory, even an actual catalytic event. But I don't think we realize that until down the road when we're like, remember that thing with Angelina Jolie? But I do think Inhumans is laying the groundwork for what's going to be a very big foundation for Phase 4 and 5. I also think Thanos is in it.
Ooh, I like that.
There's a chance.
Yeah, nicely done.
Thanos is
Taika.
Angelina Jolie's cousin, man. That character is cousin of Thanos. So I think we get the Mad Titan himself.
I love this.
Yeah, I think young Thanos, and I think we see the ramifications of the original actions he tried to take, and I also think we see just, much like the Infinity Stones, I think we see just how small Thanos is compared. I think they're going to use Thanos as, yes, this is a giant event, but in the comparison to the Eternals, it's going to be a comparative issue. So I think we're going to see how powerful the Eternals are by way of Thanos.
I love that. Okay. Kaika, can you do me a favor? Go grab those beers that I put in the freezer because they're going to explode if I don't get them out. Because we're going to crack a beer here, and we're going to get into Harley Quinn creator says DC refused Batman, Catwoman sex because heroes don't do that. Kaika, thank you for this, my friend.
Thank you so much, man.
Ooh, they're nice and cold now. Oh, Matt the Beard Man, we decided to go with the Dragon's Milk White Bourbon Barrel Age because
Bourbon,
Boones Bourbon. We're not taking away from the fact that we
Barrel
are sponsored by Boones Bourbon. We're just going to enjoy a frosty beverage after to get into the fact that this is hysterical on so many levels, Coy. The idea that that they cut this scene and that heroes don't do this. And I say, bullshit. Bullshit.
I say heroes do this.
Yes, you're a hero if you're doing this.
I think whoever wrote this has the worst relationship. And I think the difference between a hero and someone pretending to be a hero is this line of dialogue. I think someone that thinks they're doing...
That's delicious.
It's delightful, right? Like, this is so good. It's so smooth.
I'm not a beer guy. I'm a wine guy. I'm a bourbon, and I'm a scotch guy.
I'm a beer guy, and this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is very good.
This is very good.
Because it's got a strong flavor, but that's not a negative. It's like no disrespect, Mark Ellis. This is the opposite of Coors Light. It's smooth but flavorful.
Look, I don't want to say this, but Coors Light's not really beer.
It's not beer. It's a hydration. You jog with it.
It's fine.
It's like a water receptacle in a can.
I'm gonna get
so the quote implies that heroes don't do this, and I would argue the counter also doesn't apply. If you're like, by the way, you're welcome, you're also a villain. So I think that the once again bare minimum of making sure that your person is happy is that's not even being a vigilante. That's not even being Robin. That's just being a citizen of Gotham. So if Batman isn't taking care of Catwoman, one of the sexiest characters in the history of comic books, he should be so lucky. Batman shouldn't be like, heroes don't do that. Batman should be like, please let me praise you, oh mighty Selena Kyle. What else can I do? And you know Joker eats ass. So arguably Joker is the real hero of the story because Homeboy goes for it. I would argue that, all of these characters that are villains are definitely taking care of their partners more than Batman, apparently.
I'll say this. Go on Twitter, at Chris Sheehan Art, that is at ChrisShehan Art, A-R-T. He said, my hand slipped. He's a comic book artist. I'm looking at I'm looking at this.
It's not graphic.
I mean, you see this?
I think that is more realistic than the quote, and I also think that is, again, the bare minimum.
Yeah, I mean, heroes don't do this.
Because he's even comfortable. I think he's not even doing anything crazy there. That's not even acrobatics.
No.
He's also I didn't even put that together until right now. He's an acrobat. The cool, kinky shit Batman should be doing, if you train your body to be in that level of peak conditioning, you should be doing some crazy shit for your lady. Not like, by the way, like you should make 69 look boring. It should be like an inverted 69 in a bat cave while you've got all sorts of Riddler staffs, plus maybe some Clayface doing some butt stuff. Who knows?
I mean, Batman hangs upside down. He's a bat.
In the show, it's canon he fucks bats, so maybe he's just not into Catwoman.
Is that really?
There's
Is that right?
there's a joke that Kelly, the running joke is she thinks that Batman's called that because he fucks bats. So there's a great
That's
scene where
amazing.
she's in the Batcave and she's like, "Oh, this is where you fuck the bats." Maybe that's the issue. Maybe Batman isn't into humans. Fucks bats.
And this is so funny because I know that it goes viral because Batman and oral sex is funny. It sounds ridiculous.
That sentence is great.
The sentence is ridiculous. And then I saw a tweet. I stole the joke. I wish I knew who it was, but it was like the handles for the bat, right?
Yep.
The cowl made for it.
I haven't seen the Bill Finger joke nearly as widespread, by
Right.
the way.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's a
if
good
I
one.
coined that, but Bill Finger invented Batman. Come on.
But the heroes don't do that kind of stuff. You know, it's like, come on, I'm a Superman guy.
Can we? Okay, so we talk about the jokey concept. We've addressed that.
Let's break this down for real.
Can we acknowledge the real world ramifications of a bunch of shitty teenagers thinking that they should expect women to take care of them and not like? Can we actually address the fact that an executive was like, "Hey, that's not what heroes do," and the real world ramifications of people that look up to Batman being like, "Batman wouldn't do this. Fuck you." Like it's gross. It's also furthering misogyny. It's also furthering a very problematic expectation of what sexuality is. And the prudish nature of America is already very overwrought. We pretend we're not a religious nation. We pretend we're not a nation that was founded by Puritans that still lives very puritanically. We pretend that sex isn't demoted. We pretend that it's okay to have like extramarital affairs, but don't talk about it. We have all these things, and it's not premarital sex if you never get married, by the way. But I would argue that the biggest issue is like, even look at the MPAA, right? Like, we see a dick and it's R-rated.
Right.
Into the Wild is R-rated because of Emil Hirsch floating down the river, and he's nude because he's floating down a river. There's no sexual connotation of that.
No.
But you've got women who executives are like, tits, fucking PG-13, full-ass titties out Titanic.
It's such a great... Thank you.
It
It's
is
such a great
problematic,
point. It
and
is
we're
such
a
a great
fucked
point.
up nation.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, this kind of stuff that's like, show it.
I just don't
So they
understand. It's
removed the scene.
2021.
They removed the scene of, I'm going to say it, we're a bourbon and a beer in. They removed Batman doing cunnilingus on... God, I sounded so just like a
We haven't
science
sounded
teacher.
that old yet. Like we've
sounded
joked
like
about
a
being old.
science teacher.
Batman performing cunnilingus on Selena Kyle.
So what you want to do here, kids, is you take the banana and you take the condom and you roll it down slowly until the tip.
live chat.
Sorry, live chat. Batman doing cunnilingus on... I can't see that. Yeah, can I say it like me? Batman's eating out Catwoman,
I think
right?
that's fair.
And they want to remove it. They say the creator says no, heroes wouldn't do that, or whatever, or the executive says that. The internet goes wild. The internet is rightly so talking about it. Sex sells. Batman sells. Put them together. You got a trend on Twitter.
Yep.
You have artists now. Literally, I'm looking at Batman with a naked Catwoman.
I mean,
in
this is
comic
common
form.
on the internet, but the cowl is really the seller because
The cowl is on.
He's got the mask made for cunnilingus.
Yeah.
The man is engineered for eating Catwoman. Like it's just math.
And we are at that point. And I know this might sound weird. And I know this might be a little bourbon and the beer talking. But we are at that point where Finn can kiss Poe.
We should be past that point.
We are at the point where Batman can go down on Catwoman on a R-rated animated show.
Yes, if they can say fuck and they can have adult content,
Which they're fucking doing.
There's a bat fucking joke. There should be a taking care of Catwoman joke.
We are there. So, and I know it's we're finding the good.
Also, why are blowjobs so acceptable and like women getting head isn't? Like there's so much of it that is inherent misogyny that we don't address. How often do you see they use it as a punchline of a guy being cool if he gets blown, and they use it as a punchline of a girl being promiscuous if she's... I was in a movie very briefly called The To-Do List. It's Aubrey Plaza checking off things before she goes to college. The entire plot of the movie was very like, hey, why is it not okay for me to want to make sure I'm experienced before I go to college, but dudes are like, I'm gonna go run train over the summer. And the whole movie is about that. And my character's name was Hamburger Hands because I was the dude that was supposed to finger Aubrey Plaza, and I was always making burgers, and it was very gross and funny. But like, that's the joke. And it was spearheaded by a female director. It was written very funny and very empowering. And a lot of people didn't see it, I think, because it was so much about a strong female sex story. And we've now gotten to the point where we have like Olivia Wilde with her incredible like force of nature work. We've gotten to the point where we have a lot more.
Is
so fucking incredible.
one of my favorite movies.
It's what Superbad was for us then, but actually not problematic. So like there's so much in the nature of misogyny that I think a lot like blind spotting, a lot like racism, a lot like those things, since it's so inundated. I'm 32. For 32 years, not realizing it was part of our culture, it's only when you take a step back and go like, wait.
Oh, yeah.
That you notice the shit. Catwoman should get her snatch 8. It's only fair. It's only fair. It's only fair.
Well, you're touching on something I find completely true. I mean, it's like the studios, they're afraid of this stuff. I get it, but they are. It's notoriously men. It's just men across the board, and maybe that's something that, you know, it's like they're looking at. Your points are great. Like the fact that it's like, oh yeah, we can show this, we can show boobs here because of
insane.
Why? Because they like that.
Also, if you're touching someone while they're naked, it's R-rated.
Right?
As if them being painted like a French girl isn't sexual.
Right.
It's so insipid, the kind of rules they think relate to any sort of sexuality. Nudity, for one, shouldn't be sexuality by its nature. Someone floating in a river isn't sexual.
Yeah.
Someone getting painted is. So it's not fair.
Somewhat romantic, you know.
I mean, it's not negative. I'm not saying it's negative. I'm
yeah.
saying it's sexual. So
Yeah.
why is one considered sexual and one considered not? Because
Yeah.
someone wants to see Kate Winslet's tits.
Yeah, and it's somebody at the top going, no, you can't do that.
And I think sexuality as a negative is a really problematic thing to teach kids.
Yeah.
That's how we have people with 7 kids. That's how we have religion running wild. That's how we have certain elections happening.
Yep.
It's a really, really dangerous thing when we don't actually look at sexuality as such a positive. You should absolutely be safe. You should absolutely take care of your partner. All of those things are way more important than abstinence education. And teaching kids that, like, hey, that thing you feel, ignore it until it's oppressed and you shoot up a school. Like, it's really fucking problematic. Sorry,
Yeah.
there's bourbon in me. It really freaks me out.
No, but you bring in a bigger point, and that's that don't feel this.
Yes, and that's terrifying.
Don't feel this. Let's hide this.
We should all feel as much as we can because we're all going to die.
And right. And
Art
this
is about
Harley
feeling.
Quinn, and this Harley Quinn show is already pushing boundaries. I haven't seen it,
So good.
but what I've understood about it is that it's R-rated,
Yep.
is that there's jokes about Batman fucking bats, which, how do you get away with that?
Because it's not about a woman being empowered.
Okay.
And that's really freaking me out, man.
Do
Like,
they
the
not
older I get-
understand? And I wish we actually had a woman here who could give
I know.
their
I'm
opinion.
definitely like white dude drunk on show.
No, and I'm very aware of that because I do not want to speak for anybody that might go agree with this, whether you're a man, a woman.
How's the audience? Is there any live chat?
Yeah, there's lots of live
I'm
chat.
wondering if
and
they
you,
have
you
any-
know,
like, you know what I
guys,
mean? Like,
if you
is
have
there-
any problems, show yourself. We'll talk about it. It's something that people are afraid of. People get afraid of that. And then when you put it with a comic book character that was literally made to sell toys for a certain producer, John Peters, who wants to sell toys, and the studio bottom line is to get these, but Harley Quinn is a different beast.
Also, Batman, do you remember the Batman comic where he had his dick out? Do you remember that like 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
So Batman was showing vulnerability by being nude. His
I do
penis
remember
was
that.
exposed.
That
because
became a huge thing.
that collector's item is insane still.
Oh, is it really? Yeah. I
Because
bet.
he had an issue that came out where his penis was drawn, fully rendered bat dick. But like, my hashtag for the name of this episode is hashtag fully rendered bat dick.
fully
But
rendered bat dick.
I think that vulnerability was really important because we often show women in the shower as vulnerability, but there's a certain voyeurism that's inherently like, oh, she's feeling vulnerable. And I think
male
it was,
gaze.
And I think it was really important to show a man nude as a vulnerability. I think that was a really important moment, but DC immediately censored it. DC was like, we can't have that, and all the digital editions is blurred out, all that
Toys.
stuff. And
Marketing.
that isn't acceptable long term.
But when this Harley Quinn episode, this proposed Harley Quinn episode, where they removed the scene.
Yeah.
They were going to see Batman and Catwoman doing their thing. That's a show that's already adult orientated, so it's.
But so is the Snyder. If Batman can shoot people with a Tommy gun on his car, he can eat ass. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, much less pussy. Like, at minimum. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how it's problematic.
I don't either.
And it scares me, like a long term. It's like this whole conversation's in good fun because of like, it's hilarious. But like, it scares me. Like, I don't have kids yet, but I don't want them to grow up in a puritanical society.
Yeah, Leia agrees with you.
She's with me. It's a lot.
Leia, come here. No, I agree with you because that's a great point to make. It's like the violence in movies.
We can behead people, and if there's no blood, it's PG-13.
Right. And that stuff is like, we want people to be comfortable with this kind of stuff. We want that's like growing up, sex is good. Sex is fun. Sex is not to be scared. But when you put a company like a studio like Warner Brothers, they went, oh shit, and guess what? It backfired. Because everybody's talking about it. And that's your sign that we're ready for it. What if Batman and Catwoman did the thing that shows up in the episode? Would it be as big or not?
Not. It'd be fun for a week.
This is going to
be a long time.
This is something that I think shows the cracks in the system of being like, why can we show one thing and not the other?
And Tom King's writing an incredible comic right now, Batman and Catwoman, that's literally about their child. It's about Catwoman in her older ages, and she has a kid that's Bruce's, and that means they did way more than that. So it's really shitty that you can not show sex and like imply it.
That's a good point, because then you get to the conversation of like, do they push the beds together like the Brady Bunch and have their one night a week?
Catwoman has a great time.
Yeah, they push the beds together one night a week. They have a child. That's it.
No, they had sex once. They have a kid. One kid.
No,
that's it.
No, get creative.
Dude, X-Men live in Krakoa, which is a polyamorous society. Right now, Scott and Jean and Wolverine are fucking. Like right now, there's a threesome happening with the three of them. Ongoing.
Really?
Yeah. There's a panel in the X-Men where it's Wolverine, who's way short. They finally got his height right.
Yeah,
with his arm on Cyclops and his arm on Jean with a 6-pack of beer about to go. And there's a schematic of all their bedrooms, and everyone's bedroom is sectioned except for Jean is between Scott and Wolverine in the expansion. They are a fucking polyamorous couple because Marvel was making moves towards that direction. Now, would they do that in a cartoon? Probably not yet. Will they do that in a movie? Not yet, but at least there's progress because we shouldn't be prudes.
Yeah, prudes are... This stuff, it opens up such a bigger conversation. The offending of art.
Yeah, that's a drinking conversation.
It's a drinking conversation. It's like an artist does something, pushes a boundary. That's what art does. And
especially comedy.
Especially comedy. But you can do it in comics. You can do it in movies, especially movies, comics, art, comedy, what have you. And if you're offended, turn the channel. I believe that sometimes.
I would argue, if you're offended, look at why you're offended. Look at it in yourself, and then look at the other person's intent.
Yeah.
So I would look at you. I always try to look at myself first, and I'm offended. And then I try to look at the other person's intent. And there are malicious comedians. There are absolutely people that punch down.
Oh, God. Yeah, oh, yeah.
But there are also comedians that sensationalize things in order for you to get to look at yourself. I would argue Dave Chappelle is one of the best.
One of the best at looking inward.
He's also one of the best, thinkers.
Yeah.
Like, he's our Plato, man. He's our philosopher. He's our guy standing on the Pantheon just waxing philosophical, but he's doing it with dick jokes. Yeah. And there are plenty of things I disagree with that he says. Like, I don't agree with him on some certain opinions and rights, but it always makes me look inward. And I think that is so important with comedy. And I think these motherfuckers need to look at why they are uncomfortable with Batman eating out Catwoman.
Yeah. Don't be...
Which is a very funny sentence. It's still funny.
It's so funny. And yes, you have the obvious sex connotations. But
it's not like the show's not R-rated.
But that's what I don't understand.
I keep interrupting you. I'm so sorry.
No, but that's what I don't understand and keep coming back to it. Why? It's already... The precedent was set. That would have been... in universe, it would have been in tone.
And it would have been a funny moment.
It would have been a funny moment.
I assume. It doesn't have to be funny. Eating someone out isn't funny, but it would have been used comedically.
In general, eating out, it's not...
It's used as a punchline. It's not...
Right, and it's not...
Take care of your ladies, gentlemen. It's not funny in the moment, but it's funny on TV.
Important safety tip. Thanks, Egon. That's right. That's Ghostbusters, by the way. That's a quote from Ghostbusters 1984. You're welcome. I agree. I think it's a hysterical thing to become a thing.
Yeah.
I think and I think it's a good thing because it challenges what we know of comic book characters. Because the counter argument, which was put out there, heroes don't do that.
That's what's so problematic.
Bullshit.
I think
they
that's
don't.
The sentence that bothers me most. I think the sentence that bothers me most is heroes don't do that.
I'm a superhero guy.
Yeah.
I love superheroes.
Lois Lane's taken care of.
Yeah. That's exactly my point.
Oh, I wish there was a camera just aside on Mark just now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Superman guy. You don't think Superman...
Man, she's happy.
You don't think
Because
Superman...
she deserves to be. She is a Pulitzer-winning journalist. She's a goddamn genius. She's a military daughter, so she takes care of herself from birth. If Superman's not taking care of her, she's out. She's got plenty of better options. Superman better do the work with that super speed tongue. There is absolutely such a thing as too much pressure, gentlemen. And if the alphabet it gets boring, notice what she wants. Don't just do the alphabet. There are tricks. Learn. Improve yourself.
That's the Sam Kinison.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
This is a Reilly's Cantina I never thought would happen.
It's the
This
most
is one of-
X-rated I
this
think
is
we've
one
done
of
a
my
show.
favorites. Yeah, we have Streamlabs coming in here. If you want to get in on the action here,
Pun intended.
Well, pun intended. Streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. We're going to take some of these right now. I have them lined up here. Super chats always are welcome. This news that the Batman thing, it's a fun thing that the internet is talking about right now, but I think the bigger thing we're talking about here is in an R-rated animated show that has already expanded into curse words, fucking bats. Do that. Go there. I think as a society we're ready.
I think we need to make sex less problematic, and I think we need to make pleasing women not a negative connotation.
Yeah.
I think the female orgasm is still joked about as a myth. I think that women being gone down on as a punchline in context that isn't punching down is hilarious with a woman running the show and a woman-led character, all those things, but could also be problematic. But way more problematic is the line, heroes don't do that. And I think at the end of the day, that if you're with someone and you don't want them to be happy, you're not with them, you're with yourself.
Right.
You're pleasing you. If you're with someone and you're orgasming and they're not, go jerk off, you fuck.
Amen. Tinker Weasel. Clark Kent would be a terrible, clumsy lay.
Clark Kent, sure, but not Superman.
Would he?
Also, yeah, Clark Kent.
Who is Kal-El, by the way? Is he Clark Kent? Is he Superman? Is he hiding behind glasses and clumsy? Or is he truly the last son of Krypton, here to save us all? I think he'd be pretty damn good.
I would argue Clark Kent would be awful.
Clark Kent would be awful.
Kal-El would be exceptional. And
Kal-El would
Superman would change lives. So I think, do you know Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, the rapper?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yes.
I would argue that the Because the Internet album, one of the most important albums of modern times, I would argue that Clark Kent is the boy in the album, someone fumbling around trying to figure out who they are. And I would argue that Donald Glover is the Superman who is going to change some lives. And I would argue that Childish Gambino is Kal-El, who is definitely educated and experienced. So what you'd need to do is look at who you think you are when you judge Superman.
Yeah.
Are you a Childish Gambino, a Donald Glover, or the boy? Are you a Kal-El, a Superman, or Clark Kent?
I love that.
The Holy Trifecta. It's not the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, and the child. That's what it is. The boy. Very important.
This has been an important message from Coy and myself, Reilly, here on Reilly's Cantina. Thank you for joining us here. So buzzed.
So buzzed.
This is good. I mean, we got bourbon, we got beer, and we got Batman.
I also haven't been drinking as much late quarantine because I realized I had too much in the beginning. Did you go through that where you were into lockdown, you looked at your bar and you were like, oh, good God?
Oh, God, yes.
So I hit the brakes and now it's my tolerance dipped, but my love of it is high. So my body's just like, what if booze?
Julie and I would go through just bottles of wine.
'Cause what else?
We're like, what are we doing tomorrow?
We're home.
Sleeping?
I'm not driving.
Exactly.
Problematic.
So, yeah, it's problematic. But we're here on the other side of it now, here on Reilly's Cantina. If you haven't already done so, it does help us here if you hit that like button. Please do so right now. We're going to get into film bits, and we're going to get into, they don't make them like they used to, but I'm going to get to some Streamlabs here right now. Brendan Marr here. Thank you for the Streamlab. Coy, thank you so much on your insights. On Into The Last Jedi. I think the film understands Star Wars in a deeply profound way that was difficult to take at first because it challenged concepts or perhaps misconceptions that we held. I couldn't agree more, Brendan. You know my thoughts on that. Good to see you here, my friend. See you later on the Schmodown Hang. I'm sure we're going to do. Yeah, they do a Schmodown hang every Tuesday on my Patreon. Yeah, they scrimmage me.
It's a good little posse.
It's really fun.
I think that if you think you know the art that you're enjoying, you're done with the art. Art is an evolving, growing thing. And I think Star Wars had grown stagnant, and I think The Last Jedi made you look at the art again. So I argue art outlives you. So if you think you're done with it, you fucked up.
I'll tell you that statement makes so much, that resonates with me so much. I'll tell you my experience real quick. We're going to move on. I watched The Last Jedi. I walk out of it. I am profoundly affected. I'm like, that is a Luke I've never seen. I go home. I try to sleep. And at the time, I had the 3 original trilogy posters framed in my bedroom. And the one that was in front of me was A New Hope.
Okay.
And Luke is swinging in the poster by Drew Struzan, is swinging across the chasm with Princess Leia. And he has that, I'm going to save the world look on his face. And I looked at that face for a good solid 3 hours before I fell asleep. And I was like,
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, look, I mean, he thought and he did, and then he saved the world, and then he got disillusioned, and then he decided to walk away. Why did he walk away?
Yeah.
That to me is fascinating with character,
Anyone
with story.
If you hate The Last Jedi, have you ever accomplished a life goal and then realized it wasn't everything you thought it would be? Like, have you somehow not done the thing where you made a 1, 5, or 10-year goal or a life goal and then accomplished it and realized you weren't happy? Because happiness doesn't come from a goal. Happiness comes from an ongoing relationship with yourself. So, like, when you have a relationship with yourself that has benchmarks that are the completing, that's a problematic relationship, because I think you need to have goals because you need to have benchmarks. You need the serotonin, you need the endorphins, you need the dopamine. Yeah. But if that's your entire identity, which was Luke's, and he crossed that threshold, when you run a marathon, there is a finish line. When you cross that marathon line, yes, you did a fucking impossible task, but you still wake up for work the next day. Motherfucking Luke woke up for work the next day, and that's what Last Jedi's about. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the fact that he saved the world, he saved the universe, he saved the galaxy, and then turned right around and went, it can happen again. It can happen again.
The Sith won.
Yeah.
And also,
what does that do when you go, wait a minute, this is my nephew.
Yes.
This can affect my entire world. And the fact that Luke says, I don't want to see that happen again, so best that I do is remove myself. He's not even thinking about anybody else. He's not even thinking about himself in that point, I think. He's thinking about everybody else. He does not want to see the Empire come back. Right. He doesn't want to see the things that happened in the past happen again. And this is the quandary. It happens anyways. And that's fucking story.
It's way better than rehashing shit. I thank you. Thank you for the Streamlab. Because I agree. And we are a few. We are there are dozens of us. Dozens.
Yeah, there are dozens of us. Brendan, thank you for that. Popcorn comes in with the Streamlabs. Hi all, Coy. You're jacked. Also, your dad looks like your brother. Haha. I put the haha.
It's problematic. It's a struggle.
Who has the better head of hair today at the table, Reilly or Coy? Oh yeah, I know. We got some good hair going, my friend. Yeah.
I should thank you for bringing this up. I went through a very interesting part of quarantine where I started to get body dysmorphia in weird ways.
Yeah.
I would look at my hair and be like, is it receding? I don't know because I haven't taken a photo. And I kept getting weird little moments of this. And I definitely went through I got too skinny phase, and clearly I went the other direction when I had that moment. But it is hard because my parents had me very young, and they are very attractive people.
Yeah.
And they take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you see yourself aging and you go home and you're like, but they didn't.
Yeah.
When you're like, but dad, my dad's so much healthier than me. His resting heart rate's lower than mine. His HRV is better than mine.
Oh, wow.
He hikes every day.
Yeah.
My dad's 50. My father is 50 years old.
He's 50.
50. And
that's young. Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. And his heart rate is in the 50. His heart rate's 54. Mine's 70. And I work out like crazy. And his HRV is in the 60s, which means his heart rate variability is twice mine.
I'm doing the math here, and I realize that I could be your father if I were
a gambling man.
Old.
Yeah, so
That's
my mom
amazing.
had me at 16, my dad at 17. So
Okay.
and my dad moisturizes. So frankly, it's frustrating because I look
That's
older
amazing.
than him now.
I
so
love
thank
this.
you for the hair note because I had a stressful, oh good God, am I getting old?
I love that. Popcorn, thank you for this Streamlabs. We're going over to Super Chat right now. Brian Jackson, Mr. McClunky. He writes, sorry to hear about your bad times for liking a movie. Love what you love. Love who you love. Support others for their loves. Cheers. Coy, cool t-shirt. And thank you for that. Yeah.
I assume the sons of the Batman also eat ass. So,
Yeah, they should.
Frankly, everyone but Bruce Wayne cares about their person.
Yeah. And Mr. McClunky, that experience I mentioned is over. It happened. I'm stronger for it. It was I look back at it now and I go, really? Over a space wizard? You know. And you drag down my dog, Cal, who never hurt a single soul.
And was the
The
best.
best.
Good
The best.
God. Cal, I mean, I knew Cal, and I got no skin in the game. Holy shit.
That's
What
my
a pup.
tattoo. That's my tattoo for Cal.
Yeah.
Leia, you're on the clock.
I mean, it takes a certain kind of, I don't even like reprobate. What word is strong enough for that kind of monster to like have a problem with a dog, much less attack a person? I
don't get it. I never got it.
I just hope they have a lifetime of suffering.
Yeah. Well, they got arrested. There it is.
It begins.
Nerds Engage. Something I haven't heard you say yet is the negative reaction to the Killing Joke could have caused the choice to cut. Also, thoughts on Masters of You. Nerds Engage. Can't quite speak on Killing Joke. I think you can. I've read it. I'm not
the
familiar
comic's
with
great.
that. The comic
The
is
animation
great.
is the animated series. It opens with Batman and Batwoman fucking for no reason.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
And there's no good reason, and it doesn't work for their characters. But
so how could they do it there?
because DC has the memory of a goldfish. I think the problem is DC is trying to find out what. Okay, I like DC. I like the characters. I like the world. I think Warner Brothers has had very strong years. I also think they don't trust themselves because they're seeking the audience's validation.
Yeah, and we see that
every day. So I think they were seeking the audience's validation with Killing Joke.
Yeah.
And then when it kicked back, they were like, oh, no. And then it took 3 years to get Harley Quinn. So
right.
I don't think they're directly related. I think that there's a new team probably working with Harley Quinn that never even touched Killing Joke. But I think the problem is everyone is so worried about fan reaction, they're not making art because, tying it back to Mark's very good point, the entire internet yelling at James Mangold means everyone is looking at the fan reaction instead of the art. So if DC is looking at the fan reaction, they're going to make dumb choices like that. And again, the problem
good point.
The problem isn't about Batman eating out Catwoman. The problem is about them saying heroes don't do that. So at the end of the day, it's more about the problematic executive that still has a job, presumably, than it is about the actual action.
I like that. That's absolutely. I agree with that. Lewis Cox in here with a super chat. The Mandalorian is kick-ass. I am liking Bad Batch. Loki is dope. Across the board, Lewis, agree with you there. Thank you for that. Streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa if you want to get him there. I got that. Hitman Hudson. When are we getting Spidey Cat movie?
So Spidey Cat is in the current Miles Morales video game. And frankly, Insomniac nor Marvel has sent me any toys, and I'm a little offended. Spidey Cat is... So spoiler alert, Spidey Cat is with his mother, and I adopted Spidey with the lady I was with at the time. We're still on very good terms, so when I'm out of town, Spidey stays with his mom.
Okay.
I just got back from Atlanta and Boston. I went and saw Spidey to pick him up, and Spidey was in the AC and gave me the aloof cat like this. And Spidey's never done it. In his 7 years, I've never gotten the cat cold shoulder. So it is 98 degrees in LA. And I thought, hey, I'll be selfless. And instead of suffering along with my isolated AC with me, I'm sitting in front of the AC at my house because I have an apartment with one of those like tower ACs. Yeah. I was like, hey, you're at your mom's. She's got central air. I love you enough to let you be here another 3 days. So once this heat wave passes, I'm getting Spidey Cat back and then I make a movie. But until then, I miss him so much.
Oh, I know that feeling, man.
Dude, it's so hard.
When I've been away from Leia a couple times, and that is not.
This is the longest I've ever been away from him.
Yeah, I was away from Leia for a little bit there, and
it's hard.
Leia.
The ears are moving, but she is just down. She is out. I mean, a lot of stimuli. There were many kisses and jumps.
There were.
And it helped me because I miss my son.
I know the feeling. That was some good conversation. We talked about Book of Boba Fett. We talked about Into the SpiderVerse, and we talked about Batman and Cunnilingus.
Toxic masculinity.
This is a Reilly's Cantina for the books. Let's get into your cool fact of the day real quick, Coy. I want to do this segment, and then we're going to move into the last part of it, and we're going to get the hell out of here. But Alien is a question mark for me because it's owned now by Disney.
Yep.
And Neil Blomkamp was doing his own Alien 5. And I was so excited about this thing because Alien 5 he was going to bring back Ripley, he was going to bring back Hicks, he was going to bring back Newt.
Yep.
So, and there's some concept art that went out there. Ikaika, why don't you just put those images up right now.
Oh,
this is
stunning.
your cool fact of the week. Alien 5 could have been this. Now, we are getting little hints of what Neil Blomkamp was doing with his Alien 5. It's rumored, Ridley Scott said, yeah, it's dead because I want to do Prometheus or I want to do Covenant. Now it's owned by Disney, so this thing is dead.
We also
seems
lost
that
him.
way.
We lost him. We lost what the actor's name?
Oh God, which one?
One of the lead, the guy, the gentleman.
Bill Paxton.
Yes.
Yeah.
So-
Bill. So he was continuing Alien's story. Bill Paxton died in universe in that.
So
thank
it would have
God.
been fine.
So it would have been fine.
Okay.
Michael Biehn is still with us.
Yes.
Thank God.
R.I.P.
So, yeah.
Mr. Paxton. I thought that story
Hudson.
would've-
You're thinking Hudson.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
And so we have this.
Whiskey.
Look at this. Look at this. Now I want you to notice this in particular. That looks like an alien queen taking on another alien.
Yes.
But look closer. That's a human wearing alien.
An exoskeleton.
An exoskeleton. Go to the next one,
Oh,
Ikaika.
that's so dope.
Look at this. Look at this.
Man,
they have
Previs is so
aliens.
cool.
This Previs stuff is next level.
They're remotely operating aliens.
There's something like that. There's something like a biomechanical suits that they're fooling the other aliens to get in there.
And I usually am bothered. Like, I don't like the dinosaur or human hybrid concept in Jurassic Park, but there is something more natural about, like, we as a species commandeer species. So
Right.
there is something I could see where we would take over an alien shell. Like,
Yeah.
I buy this more.
I do too. Yeah. So this kind of stuff is coming out. And the concept art for Neil Blomkamp's unmade sequel is slowly coming out. And it just looks gorgeous. So I wanted to touch on this as one of the cool things of the week. You're something cool of the week because I wanted this.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a smart move. They've done it with Halloween. They've done it with Terminator, where they just ignore the movies from the other movies and they just go into this
They
one.
pick a spot in the timeline.
Yeah, they pick a spot. And this seemed really, really cool. I wanted to share that art with you as your something cool of the week and add this to the end of it. The Alien franchise, this is something I pulled from the internet. While the Alien franchise swaps in different androids for almost every installment, there is an interesting consistency to them. They go in alphabetical order. Ash, Bishop, Call, and most recently David, played by Michael Fassbender, and Prometheus, and Alien Covenant. So they're going down the alphabet. I did not notice
I never put it
that.
together.
I didn't put it together either.
That's so cool.
And I thought that news that Blomkamp's unmade sequel, that art was out there, that fact, that something cool of the week, you guys would like that. So that was your something cool of the week. Alien, do you think it'll ever come back under Disney's regime?
Alien is currently one of the best comics out of Marvel.
That's what I
they're doing
hear.
an Alien comic, and it's exceptional, and it's telling a very interesting. What's the company? Wine Corp. Wine. Oh, what's the name of the company?
Wyland Yutani?
Yes, that company is a fixture of the comic.
Wayland Yutani.
Yes, Wayland. There it is. And I'm really enjoying it. The art's spectacular. The story's good. So I think they're kind of like soft testing the market. They're seeing like what people are into, how well it sells. I think it could. I just wish this Alien 5 came out and they did the Fast and Furious thing where it was Alien 5 is the S.
Yeah.
I would have liked Aliens with a 5. I would have enjoyed that.
I
as
think
a Fast and Furious
that's
fan.
probably would have been it.
It would have been great. But I also, Neil Blomkamp, I like his work, but I love District 9.
District
I
9
would
was
have loved to have this, like, that take on it. Because Chappie's fine, and
Yeah.
what was the one with Matt Damon that was supposed to be Eminem?
Elysium was great.
Elysium.
Yeah.
If
I
they'd
liked
cast-
Elysium a lot.
If they'd cast Eminem as that role, it would have been even better, though. Because the whole thing was about this guy. Like, do you know that was written for Eminem? like Marshall Mathers.
Was it really?
Elysium was written for Eminem, like the actor
my
Eminem.
God.
That's like Chappie was so he's a hip hop head. So he cast Diane Ward because he's from South Africa and he knows them. But he wanted to then do an American one with Eminem. But Eminem turned it down because he's Eminem and he's doing a lot of other stuff. But the movie doesn't work because I never bought Matt Damon as someone from like down on his luck post Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Like I know Matt Damon came from the rough of it. I know his neighborhood. I'm from near his neighborhood. But I don't buy him in that movie as Matt Damon, rough in his luck, whereas
like
Marshall
that.
Mathers would have elevated it.
Oh, that's a good point. I really like that. The chat here is going crazy. I love this. Sorry, everybody who had joined us for the Batman Cunnilingus
Toxic bat skillinity.
conversation.
There's got to be a better pun. Batlingus, bat.
It's happening. I love having you here, guys. Thank you so much. Real quick, some super chats have come in. Vincent Zawada. Coy going to have to disagree about The Last Jedi. Not a good movie. Luke would not try to murder his nephew for no reason when he would not give up on Vader. Vincent, I love your comment. I really do. I want you to look at the movie. You don't have to, but I want you to look at the movie and question your connection to Luke. When you say he wouldn't do that because of Vader, well, then why would he for his nephew? Ask that question. I think it might open up some things. For me, as a Luke Skywalker fan, as somebody that molded my entire thing about his life to do better, to follow Luke's way, along with Superman, why would he? That would be, yeah, why would he? Because when he did that in the movie, I asked that question immediately. I go, what? I saw Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Why would he do this? Luke's not unsusceptible to the dark side. Luke is not unsusceptible for having thoughts of the greater good. So when I looked at him doing that, I think Luke wanted to stop it from happening again and would make that entirely inconceivable choice to murder his own family member
Greater
to
good.
stop it from happening again. And that moment there was the dark side. And then he went, holy shit. And he shielded his lightsaber. Too late. His nephew saw it. And that's what happened. So ask yourself why a character would do it, rather than that's wrong. That's not my Luke. I think that was a big misconception that The Last Jedi did, is that no one asked why Luke would do something. They said, no, Luke wouldn't do that because I know Luke from this. That is where I push back. I want you to ask those questions. I think it's important for characters to grow, and I think it's important to look at a character like Luke Skywalker, who saved the universe, and look at why he would do that for his nephew, against his nephew. It's a fascinating thing to consider. It might not rub you right, and that is what writing is for me, and that's what storytelling is for me.
I would argue having those conflicting feelings means they did something right. I also would argue.
I agree.
I would argue that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not nearly the Star Wars man, but the splinter in the mind's eye that it's not longer canon, where Luke went to the dark side soon thereafter.
He did in Dark Empire, in a comic book series for
Dark Horse, which is right after Splinter in the Mind's Eye, right?
It came after Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And he went to the dark side because he wanted to learn what his father was doing, and
I would argue that is more in line with Lucas's vision back then, because there's a dabbling of it, and I think that is something that a lot of people are quick draw to say no, but there is canon both in not canon continuity and the new canon.
Yeah.
Especially the Dark Horse comics, which are great.
Dark Horse are great, yeah. And Vincent, I get your second super chat, but big fan of you both. Agree to disagree, and I appreciate you for saying that. Respect your opinion, 100%, always, forever. Put your opinions out there. They're your opinions. I'm not going to change them. If you don't like The Last Jedi, who cares? I love your opinion for that. Don't yell at me. That's all.
That's all.
Let's have a conversation. That's all I want in life. That's all I want in life.
We like conversations.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
It's what we do. We have another super chat here. Where did it go? Matt the Beard Man again. I want this episode to last forever. You guys are amazing. If I make it to LA, I hope to be able to share a drink with you guys. I will bring as many Dragon's Milk variants as I can. Coy. Matt, you're welcome here always. All right, let's
get out here, man.
Yeah, get out here,
One,
man.
I got to meet you. Two, you said many variants. So one, I mean, I want to meet you, but there's more.
Let's do that. All right, let's do the last segment. This is the longest episode of Reilly's Cantina.
I'm
We got
so
10 minutes
sorry,
left.
everyone.
No. We're going 2 hours here. Let's go to the last segment of the day. Now, there was some news, Coy, that came out that I'm going to get to. So Paul Giamatti is reuniting with Alexander Payne for a new movie. We don't know much about it, but Sideways is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti, Thomas Hayden Church, Virginia Madsen, Sandra Oh are all in this movie. They're all nominated except Paul Giamatti, which I couldn't believe.
For shame.
For shame.
Doesn't make sense.
And we are getting a new movie from them. So I thought it'd be fun to look at posters. They don't make them like they used to. This is the segment on Reilly's Cantina where we look at old posters. We hope that studios take note because posters aren't made the way they're used to. So let's roll some of these posters now, going with the original here. So we have Paul Giamatti going with Alexander Payne for a new movie. I'm looking at independent movie posters that get us excited because independent movies, we don't talk about them enough.
Which is a real shame because they need help more than anything.
They really do.
They need more notice than Star Wars.
And yeah, exactly. And most of these movies do transcend the genre. They get up there, they get nominated, they get a budget, they get box office, what have you. But look at this poster. Sideways.
It's so clean.
It's perfect.
It's such a striking shade of green.
It's a striking image.
And everyone in the movie is represented in such a funny way.
Yeah,
I think this is fantastic.
It's great. They're stuck in a bottle. We got Miles and Jack in a bottle. They're sideways. It's over. It's an empty bottle. They're stuck inside it because they're stuck inside their own problems. They
Which
cannot
they drown
get
with
past.
wine.
They drown it with wine. They can't get past their own insecurities, their own problems. It's represented in the poster. What I do, Coy, is I bring up all these posters and I go, these posters tell a story.
Yeah, and like I
a
think
good poster tells a story.
And I really agree with you. I miss this concept of where a poster isn't just a bunch of floating heads.
Right.
I really
That's the
struggle
one.
with the current, like, everyone is just a floating embodiment of these people weren't on set the same day.
Yeah.
It drives me absolutely insane. Like,
I-
we couldn't get
I-
Jennifer Lawrence, so we just cut her out and we use someone else's body.
I hate those posters. It's
Especially
like
when it's a
a
different
head,
body.
a head, and a villain,
It drives me mad.
and that's it.
And like you can tell most of the time. I'm sure they've gotten by me a couple times. But this is art instead of being like this looks like a book I'd read. This
Yeah.
looks like a novelization, which is the tone of the film. So
Yep.
you also get a tone out of it. This is also
Exactly.
going to draw
It looks like a book cover.
And you draw that audience.
Yeah.
You want the audience to know what they're in for. The worst thing a trailer can do is misrepresent the audience a film is made for. The worst thing a poster can do, besides being boring, is misrepresent the audience it's aimed for. This is a scholarly audience. This, however, fucking terrifying.
This is a great poster.
Genius.
Hard Candy. Has anybody seen Hard Candy?
Fucked me up, this movie.
Patrick Wilson.
The most slept on leading man, maybe of all time.
Yeah, right.
The dude is in everything, and I think he's got the best career because he can make $20 million and like go vacation in Cape Cod. Like I feel like no one bothers Patrick Wilson because nobody thinks he's a leading man, but he's in everything.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Wilson's career. Look at his IMDb. Homie's working, but
He's-
nobody puts him on lists.
He's really good, as is Elliot Page in this.
Yes.
Before, of course, Ellen Page, but Elliot Page in this. Hard Candy is one of those horror movies. Subvert your expectations. It tells you everything from this poster.
And this was right before Juno.
It was before Juno.
So this was when we didn't really know Ellen Elliott.
Yeah.
And this is when we didn't have an expectation of what I think the character. I think if Juno had come out first, it would have been a
It
different
might have been.
expectation.
It might have been. Let's
Because I'm really curious because that really affects the trajectory of their career.
Right. Juno was 2007.
Okay.
Hard Candy, 2005.
Thank you.
Boom.
So I think if Juno had come out first,
Yeah.
this poster wouldn't work as well.
No, God, no.
I think because that
She's
changed their entire trajectory.
Yeah. So, and sorry for saying he wasn't known at the time.
Right.
Elliot was very unknown. We had Patrick Wilson. It was a story that
Neither of them were known.
neither of them were known.
And how
it
is
was
he
one of
still
those
known?
movies that I heard about and I went, Hard Candy, what is this about? Check it out if you haven't already.
I
Hard
saw it in
Candy
theaters. It
is
fucked
one of the God, it will screw
What year
you
was
up.
this? Hard Candy?
2005.
I was 16.
You were 16. I
Fucked
was
me up.
way older than that. All right, Kaika,
But
Parasite.
imagine, I'm sorry to pause. Imagine seeing that at 16 in a theater.
Yeah,
like,
I can't
imagine
imagine
like
that.
my whole body was like, 'cause I was like going through figuring out hormones and like there's trauma and there's violence and it's mutilating. It's a lot. But man, I remember that movie being one of the experiences in a theater where I was like, is it okay to be a person? Like it was one of those like deep. It's a great time.
Yeah, it's great. Parasite speaks for herself. I love this poster. The bars on the eyes to tell the story that they don't want to be known. They're doing something shady.
Again,
Bong
great
Joon-ho,
color.
it's just a great, great poster. Go on to the next one there, Kaika. The Machinist.
I've never seen this poster.
This is a great poster. And I've seen this movie once, and my God, is it a movie. And this is perfect. It shows plot. It shows what's going on. It shows Trevor Resnick is Trevor I can't see it that far.
Trevor Resnick is 4 letters from the truth.
Yep.
I also love that it captures the tone. So color again being utilized.
Color,
here.
yep.
But I've always loved that Trevor Resnick is a play on Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
I've always loved that the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails is kind of like this embodiment. Because you get the tone by the name, and that's genius. This movie is a lot, and it's referenced more than I think it's watched.
Oh, yeah.
I think more people have seen the memes than the movie. Check out The Machinist.
Yeah, because they talk about Christian Bale's weight loss.
Because the movie, what's tricky is the movie is fine.
Yeah.
But his experience and his acting is exceptional. It's one of those movies where the performance is better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. All right, let's go to the next one.
Oh, this
Have you seen Funny
Jesus,
Games?
both of them.
Okay.
The original and the remake.
The original and remake.
Good God, are they both
This
traumatizing.
tells you everything.
What is this journey you're taking us on, Mark Reilly?
This is the independent.
This is independent horror. This is a fucking dark
Well,
journey.
I lean towards horror. Funny
Machinist,
Games.
hard candy, funny games.
You have a home invasion movie where they F with the family. Funny Games is a fantastic movie. I'm recently into golf, so this speaks to me in more than any ways. It tells a
Naomi
story.
Watts.
My God, yeah.
Naomi Watts in the remake is
Jude Law, right?
what they go through and the performance Naomi Watts gives is just transcendent.
is incredible. All right, let's move to the next one. Brick.
One of my favorites.
Ryan
of all time.
Johnson. We
Ryan-
talked a lot about him.
I
This
love
is
ya.
one of his very first movies. It was a noir movie about a murder in high school. You get it from the poster. It's gorgeous.
It's where we meet Kid
A
Blue,
detective story.
who's
Yep.
in everything that Ryan's done. Ryan directed me in one of my first table reads ever.
Did he
Ryan,
really?
Yeah, I know Ryan. So one of the first table reads I ever did was with Ryan for Hit Record with Joe.
Oh
Gordon
my
Levitt.
God.
So Brick was really formative for me because I was trying to figure out what entertainment I wanted to make, and this noir was like, oh, you can make a student film on a broader scale and be an impact.
That's
and the
amazing.
trailers all actually captured that independent tone without feeling like they were pandering. I love these posters because they feel like what you'd want to see out of a high-budget independent film without feeling like you're pandering to the indie college audience.
Yeah.
And Ryan makes films that I think capture the big-budget student tone.
Yes.
I think Brick is the noir that every college kid wants to make that doesn't have the budget. I think Brothers Bloom is the offbeat comedy that everyone wants to make. I think Star Wars is the sci-fi epic that everyone wants to make that goes to film school. I think literally Looper is the giant adventure film starring literally the most cliche actor you could hire, Bruce Willis, in the big... Like, what Ryan's done is he went to film school and went like, this is what everybody wants to do. I'm going to do it better. And then he has a career, but he's humble about it, and he's a darling. I love Ryan Johnson.
I love that. Kaika, we're going to end it. Oh, yeah. Let's do the last one here, and then I'm going to bring up next week's guest. I'm going to end it here because I literally have to pee. I literally
Guys,
have to
2-hour
pee.
show. He said 1 hour.
Hard.
I started drinking.
I have to pee so bad.
Prancing.
Being John Malkovich, this is one of my favorite movies. Look at that. It tells you everything
And the
you need to
tagline.
know.
A
And a tagline.
rare good tagline.
Ever want to be someone else? Now you can. Being John Malkovich, highly recommend this movie. I love the independent nature of all these movies. They push the boundaries, and the posters tell that story. Coy, they don't make them like they used to.
Loved it.
Posters they need to be something different.
I want posters to reflect the film, but also reflect the art of what it is to make a trailer and a poster. I think poster artists and trailer artists are not appreciated enough, and I think because of that, we get floating heads.
I agree. Haskell 420 in here with a quick super chat. Have you seen the Now I Joined Late? Did I miss the Masters of the Universe Revelations discussions? No, we haven't talked about that. This is a movie show that is a streaming series. Every streaming series I do talk about, aside from the Batman Cunnilingus, will be tied to the movies. So Masters of the Universe Revelations, I will talk about it because I love Masters of the Universe. But did you see it? Did you like the trailer?
I'm not even that big of a fan of the OG, but I was loved the trailer.
Yeah,
Because everything I
trailer was
loved
great.
about the original, it got, and I want Kevin Smith's sensibilities. And he loves it so much, I can't wait to see him just like have that passion in it. Like
Yeah.
his love of it translates.
I love that. Yeah, and you know,
Yeah, no, Kevin's love
a good
of
guy.
He-Man is preposterous. He loves
I
He-Man
can't
like I
wait.
love Spider-Man, so it's going to be a really special thing because
oh,
he's
that's
all
gonna
about
be
it.
good.
Yeah.
Joel Ralston in here with a super chat. I've never heard. I'd never heard of Alexander Payne until I was in college. About Schmidt changed my POV of the film's ending. Rod Serling's work does the same for me. Thank you for that. Yeah, About Schmidt is a great movie. I highly
Have you seen
recommend.
Bottle Shock?
Oh, Bottle Shock's
It's a
fantastic.
great spiritual sequel. I find, to Sideways.
Yeah,
It's a great,
really
like,
is.
double
Yeah,
feature.
Chris Pine,
Alan Rickman?
Alan Rickman.
It's a really special
It's
movie.
a special movie. I totally agree. I think that's it. All right.
You got to let Mark pee, because frankly, I'm just
gonna
going to
have to
sit here
pee.
buzzed for a while.
I'm gonna have to pee, but you
I've done
guys,
some drinking.
if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button on the what is this? A video, and please subscribe to the channel and go on over to the GPA.fun and check out our memberships there. Coy, thank you for coming in here.
Thank you so much,
This was
man.
one of the best shows.
We
This was awesome.
When I said we like always fix it, we've said that so many times. We got to do more.
Yeah,
We got to do more. Like, 'cause
I
always
have
get
an
fun.
idea. I'm going to talk to you after
Yes.
this.
He's got to pee first. So we're talking
I'm
about
gonna
it
pee
off
first.
air. But
But-
also follow me on stuff. And Instagram tomorrow, I'm doing Loki episode 2. And I hate plugs because I always feel like they're pandering. But if you enjoyed this level of Drunk Me, you'll like
Yeah.
my other content. So check me out on that on Instagram, Twitter, etc., etc. We're going to let Reilly pee.
There you go. It's down in the description. Yeah, I'm already drunk. I'm feeling it. This is Reilly's Cantina. I am so glad that you guys were here. This was a fantastic conversation, a fantastic episode. All of you joining here, thank you so much for making the
The
GPA.
dark cunt. That's the fucking pun.
That is the dark.
The dark cunt, because he doesn't fucking take care of his lady. He's the cunt. It's a negative on him. He's the bastard. The dark cunt.
Batman, you know what you did. Next week, this is the what I wanted to share.
Taken off YouTube.
Next week, I know this is going to be off. I have a big guest coming in on Reilly's Cantina, one of my dear friends. I was a part of a Star Wars show called the Star Wars Trilogy in 30 Minutes. We did all 3 of the original Star Wars movies on stage. I did it for many years. I did it at all the Star Wars celebrations. I did it for a private performance for George Lucas. I did it for J.J. Abrams at one of the performances, and we are looking to get it back together. However, one of my main Luke Skywalker actor went on to great things. He became big. James Snyder is now Harry Potter on Broadway in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And he is my guest next week on Reilly's Cantina. My dear friend James Snyder will be joining me here virtually on Reilly's Cantina to talk about his role in Harry Potter and also what it's like to be on Broadway during a pandemic. And also, we're going to geek out about Star Wars because James is one of my dearest friends. I love him to death. I love the success that he has found, and he is now Harry Potter on Broadway. I can't wait to talk to him about what that's like to be on stage as an iconic character of Harry Potter. I'm honored to have James Snyder here next week on Reilly's Cantina. So join us there. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Coy, any last words before we go, my friend?
I love this show. I
Thank
love
you,
the
my friend.
space, and I'm even more proud of you than I am happy for you.
Oh, thanks,
and that
my
says
friend.
a lot. Like you've been crushing it this year, and what you guys have built here is really special. And I love how much you force positivity on people that don't realize they
We're
need
trying.
it,
We're
and
trying.
find positivity in those that cultivate it. It's a really special place. This is magic, and I'm really happy for you, man.
Oh, my friend, thank you so much. I want to work with you so much more. I want you back here as much as possible. You need to be on the live show with GPA Live. I want to talk some Loki with you.
Yes.
My God, you're going to be back very soon, my friend. So everybody, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And drop a comment in because I go in there and we talk about it. Get excited. Next week, James Snyder, Harry Potter from the Broadway production of Cursed Child is going to be in here. Ikaika Shively, thank you very much on the ones and twos. Any last words, my friend? Oh,
Batman, just do it.
Batman. Just do it.
Be
That's
better.
right.
Be better.
Be better. Everybody, thank you very much for joining Reilly's Cantina on the GPA. We will see you next week. Goodbye.